It's bad.
So I'm gonna pop over to the actual. Hey, okay, hey, look at that, we're here. Holy shit!
Wow!
Hello!
Welcome,
Hi, everybody. Hello.
The thing that XEI said makes me want to check and make sure my stove is off. I'll be right back.
It's like the time the ice maker in my fridge broke and like the entire kitchen was flooded. Like just literally, it was like ankle deep, not ankle deep, but like it was
That
like
is
it was like
unfortunate. That is
there was
very
water.
unfortunate. But yeah, all right. So yeah, we're all here. We're all square and all that fun shit. So this is gonna be the second part of the second episode of the Give No Fox podcast, where we talk long-windedly about things for funsies because I like talk. How are you guys doing tonight, everybody? I asked X. We all got that answer. How are y'all doing?
Yeah,
Wants to start?
Good.
The oven is off.
I'm doing all right.
Are all
Good.
utilities safe? Yeah. Okay.
I'm tired. I'm tired. I had college classes this morning. I'm tired.
College be like that.
Imagine being in education.
Imagine.
Bro, imagine
Couldn't
spending
be
thousands of dollars to be in VR chat, but like somehow worse and sweatier.
Damn! Imagine being offended.
Imagine being on crunch time.
Oh
Hello,
no.
gamer fan.
Imagine wearing
Hello.
a black morph suit with ping pong balls attached to it.
That'd
Couldn't
be
Imagine
more
being right.
unfortunate. Oh, you know what? I didn't open up my Nightbot, but that's fine. I don't think I need it. I can
Just-
open up later if I need to. But anyway,
Where,
so
where
yeah,
did you get your background, actually?
X
Hi,
made it.
everybody.
Oh, really? X made that Yoku's
X
background?
created it. I asked him
Yeah,
to,
no,
and he's
Yoki-
like,
no,
"Yo,
no.
yeah, let's do this."
It's yours.
Wait, X made Yokumi's
What?
background?
Yokimi.
No,
No.
mine. Okay,
No,
I thought you were talking about.
this is not-
Okay,
What?
I was like, no, we're talking about the fucking
I got
podcast.
confused.
There's an entire world.
No, that's-
yes.
yeah.
It's a cool ass apartment.
Damn.
Let's take this opportunity to explore the wonders
Damn.
of virtual reality.
I'm
Yes.
thinking it
Oh,
was
you have such a
Jack.
nice
This is
room, Yokimi. Oh my god,
It is 3 a.m. everywhere.
It's 3 a.m. somewhere.
it's true.
True.
Forever.
there really isn't way too much. It's just pretty as fuck. But
This
like,
is like-
I just paid $60 for this. That's about it.
This is like
It's a good
Cyberpunk
environment.
77.
Hell yeah.
This
Beautiful.
is like the apartment from Burn Notice.
You know, actually, it kind of is, and I hate that you mentioned that because now I'm seeing the parallels.
Glorious.
Good.
All right, so I literally copy-pasted from the fucking Discord for this one, though, but I should probably be looking at my notepad that I just grabbed for this. But, yeah, so we're going to start with introductions. Y'all already know who the fuck that I am, but, you know, I'm your lovely host, the Fox Man, the RPG Fox. Yeah, I have another model that I'm not using right now. It's fun. Anyway, we're going to just go in clockwise order, I suppose, from that one. Ed, do you have anything to add on from last time on who the fuck you are?
Yeah, I'm the content leech, funny enough, so I came on this episode. I wasn't supposed to be here, but
Yeah,
now
we
I
just
am.
let him in through the back door and we were about to start.
Just snuck into the vent.
We
I'm
coaxed
not-
him in with like a fucking bag of
I'm
Cheetos.
not really
Yeah.
supposed to be here, but yeah, here I am.
Got him some potato chips.
Yes.
And he'll eat
Frey.
it.
Hello.
Hello! How do we do anything in this day and age?
Whatever it is that you want to go ahead and talk about that you want to throw through for an introduction, sell yourself, my dude.
Oh, right, okay.
You have my blessing. Sell yourself.
Sure. Hey, my name is Frey Cheqama. I have a YouTube channel of the same name. I've been doing streaming, VTubing, and a little bit of animation, all of which for about 3 years now, and I'm currently working on a animated series called Lobotomized, as well as working as an editor for hire for streamers and VTubers. And I greatly appreciate being a part of this entire event with y'all. And one of these days, one of you are going to owe me a very dire favor, and I will be happy to make that call. Hi, Jameson.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love the way that intro went. Ah, beautiful. Tenma
I
Yokumi,
fear.
do you think that you can one-up that somehow?
No, sir. Hi, name's Yokumi. That other name, it's there, but hey, I just do not too much right now, but I have been doing a lot of Unreal Engine, and it's been like a masochistic journey. It is the prettiest thing ever, and I hope to make amazing, maybe stories, other VTubing content in here someday. We're getting there, but I've been on a content pause for a little bit.
I believe in
Generally-
the power of you.
Thanks. Generally, I've been really inspired by large scale production stuff, just like this. Code Migo, Fofamit, everyone who does all this kind of stuff in the background. I don't know why this became my hobby, becoming virtual, but everyone's got their own thing. I think this is the coolest shit ever. I hope to spread the word of V to everyone. VTubing, virtual reality, V shoujo. I don't fucking know.
Listen. You got me sold on this already, because the entirety of the time that I've been wanting to throw my fucking quest on the entire time that I've been in this podcast. So you're doing something.
Yeah.
I have it like right on my desk. I'm looking right at it right now. It's super tempting.
Dude, you want a VR after this? I'm totally down with that.
Oh fuck yeah, I do.
Don't tempt me into socializing.
I mean, you're here, aren't you?
That's exactly what the point of this exercise.
I mean,
wait a minute. No, we weren't
This
supposed
is
to
content.
play this.
What?
I mean, as Yokumi said, they're spreading the V. Now, take that how you will.
Yeah.
But, Frey, what are you spreading? Spread your word.
Potato chip.
No,
Berry lemonade.
the other thing.
What?
You said you had an animated series or something?
Oh, are we
Mentioned
doing?
earlier.
Are we doing this
basically
now?
that kind of shit. Yeah, whatever that you guys want, like anybody to know, because this is supposed to network for y'all, and I'm totally down with that. And then we're gonna do another round afterwards too, because I forgot that I had this separated in sections, and that was my problem for not being clear. But I'd like to know all of your creative interests as well. Yokumi touched into that one with like virtual reality stuff, though, which is a good one. Which is where we're gonna start with X. So you're gonna spearhead that after Frey talks about lobotomized. So
All right.
tell us.
Oh,
Tell us more.
all right. Oh, absolutely. Sure. So, hello, Throat Demon. I've been working on a series that basically, if anyone's familiar with the series or game Lobotomy Corporation, you probably know
Thank
that
you
it
for
can
the
be
follow,
really
Submastica.
confusing, hard, annoying, but the story's pretty damn good. And I just got to thinking one day, why are more people not into it? And one day I just kept thinking, oh yeah, because it's translated poorly and hidden behind a mask of fear, monsters, and complexity. So what if I went and decided to animate it in a way where it was easier to understand, you could actually get a feel for the characters, and if my voice actor's experiences reading the lines are anything to go off of, it will make you cry. And I guess I was originally Yokumi's dead.
Don't worry about it.
All right,
I'm
that
resetting.
favor's gonna come sooner than I thought. And if I was going to make this announcement later on in the stream, but if you're tugging my fingernails off here, then we've actually got a premiere date for it on youtube.com/Frey Cheqama on the YouTube. You know, the YouTube that is boobadee numbers.
All of the links are in the description, by the way, guys.
Yeah,
I remembered to post them this time. I kind of
all-
fucked you two over last time and didn't do that, but they're there now.
Saul.
So,
All my socials are down there. So
I mean, you don't actually.
All
I
negative
actually
one
didn't know
of
what to
them.
use for your socials, so I do need to edit this and post for you, Ed, because
For-
I don't know
that
what
was
you
that-
use anyway. But
That
yeah.
was the
Do you
joke.
have any?
Exactly.
That was the joke. I
Exactly,
know.
but yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. Anyway, let me just get straight to the point. We have a premiere date for episode 1 now. It is going to be Saturday, October 8th at 7 p.m. CST.
Let's go.
So yeah, and we're gonna have a celebratory stream with a few members of the team dealing with trolley problems and Q&As. So look forward to that, and more to come afterwards. So thanks, and
yeah,
I
by
hope
all
you all
means,
survive.
everybody, like, take a check at that too, especially if you're into fucking LC stuff, which I already know you are, because that's how this fan base works with anything. They're like, wait a minute, is that supposed to be like PM verse shit? And they fucking eat it up. Nothing against you guys. It's how it is.
It's the one good thing about it is the story.
I mean,
Yes.
even if you aren't and you just like Fox is in it.
Yes.
Fox is playing Yes Odd, so if you want to support them or you just want to hear more of that smooth, grainy voice that just feels like a rock that you want to put in your pocket,
Yes.
you know where to go.
Yeah, you know how to sell me. Yes, absolutely. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
By the
So,
bushel.
X, would you like to spearpoint your introduction and creative interests that you are? This is the whole entire reason why I decided to stem off into creativity for this stream, is because this lad. Oh, it's great.
Geez. Oh, geez. Yeah. So, Shay here, XEI, however you do. And got a bunch of YouTube channels. Sometimes they're plenty. Sometimes they're one. Sometimes they're plenty. And sometimes they're going to be one again. Sometimes, I don't know. The point is that I'm all over the place. Just on YouTube.
Fair.
It's YouTube gives you the that freedom to be able to just explore ideas, and that we'll get into it, I'm sure, later on. But as a platform, a little bit tricky when it comes to how reach works, and just how to make it all work and inspiring and stuff like that. So outside of YouTube, do comics, write, produce. Just kind of working on some series, getting them out there, and beyond that, kind of getting deep into AI art and just how to collaborate with that, and
oh my, that's gonna take over the world soon,
Topical.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of slammed into it last minute. Not last minute. I kind of in the summer when it was just starting to kind of creep into. Everywhere, everyone was talking about it. I was like, "What the hell is this?" Okay, fine, I'll look into it. And then, holy crap, that was a rabbit hole. That's like 6,000 images later in like 2 weeks. I was like, "Oh shit, I got something new to do." So everything just froze until I
a new interest.
Kind of deep into that. So yeah, so just kind of all over the place. I like to create things, create world building, in particular, and like storytelling, narrative. Pattern breakdowns and stuff like that. So anything that touches, deconstruction of anything like that is kind of my jam. So there you go.
Absolutely.
I already love your jam.
Yeah, I knew y'all would. Is that as granular as you want to get as well? Because I'm also realizing that the next question is what your biggest passion is. But you can go ahead and wait until another round of that if you want to go into something else.
I was fighting a coughing fit because I nearly choked on my saliva by getting excited about the stuff I was going to talk to. So I was kind of
he almost swallowed his tongue trying to answer that question.
Did you win the fight?
I'm drowning in my own saliva.
Oh no.
So yeah, I don't know how you want to go from there. I think Fox, you didn't really kind of get into your...
Not really, though, because it was, I realized with the whole like passions thing. So, all right, cool. General thing. I started out as a music kid, for anybody who doesn't know. So if we're going to talk about passion, that's where that shit all comes from. Somebody very close to me once upon a time was playing a violin in their room, and I was like, yo, I want to do that thing. And from third grade on to like sophomore, junior year of high school, I was in an orchestra for God knows how long, and that's how the whole music thing started for me, and it just stemmed on to other stuff. Beyond that, it's funny, high school was a very interesting time of figuring out all of the hobbies and stuff that I wanted to do. Got into drawing, wanted to do comics, all that other stuff, and that's what led me into, worlds and just decent stories with both RPG horror games, because I didn't fucking like Let's Playing for God knows how long, hilariously enough. And then I bumped into Markiplier, and I was like, all right, cool. Some people don't just scream at microphones all day long. That's cool. But that's where it led me into that
Markiplier
shit.
Doesn't?
I mean, listen, he has a good voice for it, though. Like, you get what I mean?
It's true.
Yeah.
He gets a pass.
That's the thing. Like, he has, like, the same thing going on with me, but he's just more excited, and, because he definitely screams, absolutely, but he just has that lovely voice.
Jacksepticeye is just green Markiplier. It's like how Luigi is screaming Mario.
Green pliers.
Imagine dying and then now you can play as Jacksepticeye.
Fantastic.
I can't wait until Jacksepticeye is in Hollow Cure.
After the Red Mist section, you can now play as Bina.
It's coming up, I assure you. But yeah, that's where like pretty much all of my passion started for the most part, was like in high school with that stuff. I realized that I had a knack for drawing. I used bases primarily, and then it stemmed off from there. So drawing, music, where else am I going from there? Voice acting was a big one too, especially when I was getting into watching more anime. I was like, yo, I want to do this shit, and people have been telling me all of my life, since I hit puberty, that I have a solid voice for radio. Which led into the Let's Playing thing, which was basically a pseudo voice acting thing for me. And to kind of work on improving and just talking to things in general. I'm not there where I'm like really great at it yet, I think, because I still blank really hard sometimes, or will just drone. And it, that famous statement that I will stick by, thanks to Josh Dreyfus, is if I had more time, I would have written a better, shorter script. That fits my
Interesting.
life
Wow.
so well with things because that's the idea of like, condensing things, making it concise. But luckily, you're on Give No Fox. We don't care about that shit here.
Hey!
Yeah, yo, he said the thing. Write that
Title
down.
card.
But yeah,
Start
that's
the OP.
basically like primarily all the stuff that I have right there. Like I haven't in a while though, but music production, voice acting, obviously the YouTube video creating shit, video editing, and all of that fun stuff, really. So those are where my passions lie. Ed, you can take the floor.
Oh, sorry, what was the...
Just what
I
your
didn't-
passions are. I know you definitely have them.
Oh, yeah. So, funny story about that, actually. I'm in college for game development and design,
Yo,
right? I
Yes.
tried doing Unity today for like the first time in a year because I got Unity certification like a year ago. I do not remember how to do anything.
That is
I
very
haven't-
true, Punster.
I haven't done it in a year, but yeah, I have found myself in my writing recently with the completion with the help of Frey of Anomaly Hunt and another thing.
To a
I'm
lesser
working
extent,
on.
to writing, I'm into. I should also, since you brought that one up as well, yeah, especially with like script writing and whatnot, I appreciate
Oh yeah,
good writing.
absolutely.
Man, we made a story.
Oh.
And I want to do streaming. I want to record long form content because that essay shit is interesting shit, right?
Mhm.
I like Mahler's like 5-hour video.
It's so good though, dude. And then 6 hours are gone, and you're like, man, I just listened to a deep-voiced
know about
Welsh man shit on a movie for 5.5 hours.
Jesus.
Like,
Wow.
if Joseph Anderson could dedicate like 12 hours total to talk about the Witcher series, I like that. It's interesting.
it's true. It's so funny too because he definitely has critiques of Joseph Anderson as well. That's where a lot of my stuff, where I've realized like some of the missing points of Joseph Anderson are. With some of because he gets kind of opinionated with things where it gets really like with some of his critiques and whatnot. He's not bad
agree.
though. He's good when he puts the work in. Absolutely.
I don't agree with his Darkest Dungeon video for like a 90% of it. I like do not agree. With what
are you saying?
Not great things. It's like the worst thing. Just it's one of his shorter ones. I could send you a link like right now, but like yeah.
Mhm.
What was the other one?
You should do that.
Oh,
to
yeah.
him. But yeah, your
It's
passions.
it really sounds like he has a skill issue.
It's a lot of it's a lot of things I want to do right now. I'm still trying to find my footing now.
Scaling will forever be your worst enemy.
Yeah, absolutely. Me and X talk about this fucking constantly. This is like every
Yep.
conversation that we have with things. It's like, why
That's
do I need to
fine.
enjoy so many fucking things? I don't have
Sorry.
time for this.
Pain.
No, I'm just trying to reset myself here. This is like a new beginning for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
Just use
that-
melatonin.
I'm kind of a blank slate, kind of not right now. I'm still trying to find my footing, but yeah, writing is mainly.
I
in
think you
game
do have a
design.
knack for it for sure, absolutely, when it comes to coming up with ideas for, especially with, I'm just going to say your background, because I don't know if you want that to be public or not, but you know what I'm talking about, like
Yeah,
what you
oh,
originally
yeah.
were doing, so,
Yeah,
but yeah,
yeah.
all right. Is that a
That's-
pass over to Frey, or do you have more?
No, not really. It's all to be said.
All right, cool. Your passions, Frey.
So I think we recently went to a convention together. Yes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah,
All the
yeah,
top
yeah.
three lads up here. Oh, I love you too.
Yeah.
You can
Yoki
see the
was
pictures on my Instagram. It is.
Yokimi was
yeah.
invited, but they declined. Unfortunately, I would have loved for them to go.
Yes.
Maybe if you
Yes.
guys come on to LA Expo or Anime Expo next year, I might see you guys.
I'm not
I'll look
going to
into
fucking
it. I have to build
You
my-
California.
cannot
That's the
stop
thing.
me. I will be there.
Why would I ever want to go to California?
Why would the Yokumi ever want to come to Texas?
Yeah,
Bro,
no,
what do
fair
you? Yeah,
enough.
true. And also, what do you have against electronic cars? Like, come on, man. And
What?
hipsters.
In legal pot.
I'm confused.
It's fine. We have
It's
hipsters
California.
and pot here too.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, is it legal down there?
We have pot. Anyway.
Like, literally,
Oh,
vegans are born in California, man.
Yo,
Anyway.
yeah, burn it
Yeah, sorry,
to
go
the
ahead, Fred.
ground.
I bring up the convention because I think we had a conversation, a good long one, about content and making stuff for a while. And I think the best way I can summarize my passion is a sentence I told you from there. My dream is to be the VTuber version of Jigsaw. That nothing we have here.
Wait,
All
what?
I can fucking imagine.
all I remember
Not
happening was
I
all I
wanna play a
remember
game.
happening. all I remember happening was you played that Scott the Woz video, then you played the button video, then you played the blood box video, and then we talked about business cards for like an hour and a half.
Hold up. I got you. Hold on. Let me turn off my noise suppression. First off, is this too much white noise if my noise suppression is off?
Wait,
You do not sound whiter.
Yeah.
You sound fine. You sound good.
All right,
Yeah,
hold on.
seriously,
What's
though,
a
you
good
sound
filter to do
But
this on?
I should say none of this was bad. It was a funny conversation. I enjoyed it. It was interesting.
Oh, absolutely.
So this is not all me bashing what was going on.
Yeah, I decide it's okay. I'll go off on a quick tangent on that. Yeah, basically.
Jesus.
There we go.
Yeah, in all
The deed is
seriousness,
done.
though,
Yeah, go ahead, though, Frey. You have the floor.
I think that for a while, funnily before I got into creation, I had a feeling that like 2017, 2018, it looks like Let's Plays and gaming content was starting to get more into story-oriented stuff or narratives. And back in those years, I mean, that was just starting to emerge, but it wasn't really the norm. Whereas now, like, you can't really justify making a Pokemon or Mario Party video without having the word "but" in the title. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
But
Yeah.
absolutely.
Gaming content be.
Exactly. So I'm thinking that we need to take this one step further and turn it into social experiments. And some people out there in the chat know about one example that we recently had, where I decided to debunk democracy using Cult of the Lamb.
Yes.
Let me.
What?
I'll just.
What do you promote instead of it?
I have avoided watching Cult of the Lamb until I play it myself. So
There you go.
I've seen it anyway, regardless, because Kenny plays it, so I will bump into it eventually. So.
Very understandable. Yes, Mario Party, but God is dead and you killed him. Now imagine that you get a professional voice actor to borrow the PNG of another VTuber, and you have them imitate them right to their face. I don't have an idea past this, but I think it's funny, and an idea is going to come from it. Back to Cult of the Lamb. On that one, what we did was, the idea was we would have a cult, and you make beliefs for the cult, you make upgrades, you decide how it's going to be built. I thought, what if I did it through a democracy? What if I just had chat vote for everything? And wouldn't that be cool to have a choice? Then I thought, wait, we have an entire cult based on potato chips, Oath of the Skin, etc. But we're all united against an enemy gods. We want to kill them. And then, like, I started thinking, we seem pretty united whenever there's an enemy. What happens when it's just peaceful? What happens when all the enemies are dead? Are we going to make an enemy out of ourselves? So I had a week of streams playing this, and then at the end decided, all right, we've become very unified. Let's see if this cult based on the people's choices who voted for every single step of the way can survive when there's a little anarchy. So I told one person I know IRL about what we were doing, about the memes, about how much we often love to say yummers, and if you can believe it, that did not inspire enough hate to break it. So that was surprising to me. But we started getting people to give each other names, like people who believed the original gods were called nanos, and people who believed in the cult as it was were called skinners. They voted on those names, and they started name calling each other, saying, well, maybe they should be sacrificed, or maybe they should be ascended, or maybe they should go to jail, stuff like that. I thought, okay, how far away are we to getting people to vote to eat their own shit?
That's the one thing I know about that, is that's a thing.
Oh boy.
Just a rabbit that eats shit.
Yeah. And here's the thing.
Story.
I'm not gonna say how it ended. I am gonna say I vividly remember having 100 pieces of fertilizer before that stream started, and having 0 at the end.
Oh my.
We were hungry.
We were, and it was okay. I guess I am gonna say how it ended. It basically was a choice between: do we come together to get all of the upgrades, or do we make everyone eat poop? And it ended up with everyone eating poop. Just because.
Spoiler.
Yeah, spoiler. I don't care. Just because someone decided they couldn't live peacefully and needed an enemy. So, I don't know. I think exposing some little social weaknesses, like maybe, I don't know, getting a bunch of letters over to a certain friend of ours, to see if they would be willing to make a video supposedly hitting someone with a rock. Of course, it's animated, so it's not real. I wouldn't actually endorse that. But
You good
No,
at
sorry. I actually had a cough. That was.
Oh, okay.
you know, it's just like there are so many possibilities in the role of kayfabe and out of it. And I just think trying to be nice limits us. It's like what Yokumi's saying. You wanna embrace the virtual. I wanna embrace the uncertain, what blurs the lines. You know, that's what I'm talking about.
You're quite literally the Two-Face of our time, you know? Do you live or do you die? Flips coin.
Aww.
Oh, well, the coin landed sideways. Oh, boy.
I guess I get
cute.
half of you. Do you want the left or the right half?
Wait, hey, I'm in the middle. I win either way. So
That's true.
This is the
You
reason
get-
why I wanted to drag this boy on here, by the way. Frey is phenomenal, especially when it comes to, like, again, this is what I'm really hoping that you wind up bumping into with you have some kind of niche with, like, hosting shit in the future,
Aw.
because you are, like, born for that, my friend.
Oh, I
weird
absolutely
shit,
want to host
dude.
that.
It'll be phenomenal, like, just hosting events for VTubers and whatnot, and they're just like, oh, man, what is this? But it's chaotic and fun at the same exact time. It's going to be a great time. I can see it.
Oh yeah.
you're like the
Yeah,
North
I see this
Pole of,
pose
like,
haunting my
everything else.
dreams.
I won't. Oh my God! You have arms. I forgot. Oh God. You see, I won't dwell on this much longer, but you're absolutely right. That's the goal. Definitely inspired by Alpha Rad and also Total Drama Island.
Of course.
And Danganronpa and
my
Jigsaw,
gosh.
the like.
Oh my god!
Yes.
I thought you said you were embracing the Null Finkel because I said like you're like the Null Finkel of everything else that's not movie night.
Oh,
And there's only like 2 people who will get that joke.
Oh, it's great.
Nice.
It's great.
All that's left is to make sure that the edits pay the bills, and then there's gonna be some hell to pay, and that's money, and that's
There
fun.
you go.
And
Oh,
that's
no.
someone else's turn.
I definitely see the Danganronpa
Great.
influence.
But yes, Danganronpa as well, too, is a very good inspiration. Yokumi, did you want to add on, by the way, to the VR stuff that you were mentioning before, or
Yeah.
have a comment on anything that you heard from that last round? Because you did go into the whole VR shit.
not really way too much. I just feel like I don't know why that VR is as niche or uncool as it is. Because I'll just say, as I've said this story many times, like the 7-year-old kid, the back of their like Honda playing Game Boy Advance, having to shine a light at the front of it because there's no backlight for it, does not
Oh
imagine
God.
that
What
like
were they
20
thinking?
years later that I'd be a virtual anime girl being able to do this. So just like, I don't know. I think virtual shit, just virtual production, everything related to that virtual shit is the coolest.
It really is,
That's
too,
all.
and it has so many varying levels of quality now versus, like, previous. It's definitely... I've only recently started to step into it, too, is, like, what really got me into, like, VR as well, too. Why I love it so much. So, like, I want to get more invested into it, and when I have a bigger place, it'll be phenomenal, because I do want to get into, like, the full body shit and whatnot, because that's just funny. But, dude... VR chat, as wonky as that shit is, but, like, VR chat roleplay, I don't know why I enjoy that so much, but I fucking do. I've been following a roleplay for the last 3 years, over, like, 4 now. No, 3, it would be 3. It was over the fucking pandemic where I figured out about it, though, but Ascension Academy. I've been watching Mr. Brunswick's perspective of this for years, dude. And I've been so heavily invested in, like, the idea of VR RP. It is fucking amazing what they try to do with that shit, man.
Whoa.
Like 2 years ago, it was the most popular thing. Even like there was Callus Row, which is an entire huge RP group, like stream group for VR chat that dominated everything. There was so much drama happening for VR
yeah.
chat. Like whenever you looked up VR fat, excuse me,
VR fat,
VR
yes.
chat. That's everyone behind VR chat. VR fat. Anyways, so
VR dump truck.
Trans chat.
Oh.
everything related to drama, that is, VR chat and drama became synonymous with each other. It's like you watch during the time whenever GTA 5 RP is the most popular thing on
Oh my
Twitch.
God,
It's the exact same thing. It's just there's nothing else cooler. I don't know why, but it just is. It's neat. I absolutely understand what you're talking about.
Oh no, absolutely, and I have such a great respect for it too, especially because some people get really into it, dude. Especially with like model creation. I'm sure you know with that. Like,
Yes,
damn, dude, some people get
Jesus
very
Christ.
invested in their models.
Oh, yeah.
The old me was somewhat of a person back then, but we don't talk about that.
We don't talk about that.
Yeah, no, it's like me and my old Danganronpa writing, which I'll say that's what it was. I don't really care, honestly, at this point. Yeah, that's what it was. But yeah, whatever. What I did is that. Yeah, whatever. Anyway,
Pretty much. No, it's all the same
We all
shit.
have
though.
a past we're running from. We'll catch up, but not today.
could I take
Dude,
a
I
side
look at
tangent?
things that I did literally like a couple of months ago, and I'm like, man, that was pretty cringe. Never mind back when I was in high school. Like, come on.
Amazing.
That's just because you're growing at an alarming rate.
Can I go on a side tangent real quick?
Absolutely.
About
Yeah,
something
go
you
for
said?
Yeah.
You mentioned GTA 5. This has like nothing to do with anything, by the way, right?
Okay.
Did you guys see what happened on Twitter with that?
How recently?
Like yesterday,
No, what's up?
GTA 6 got leaked. 90 minutes of
Oh,
footage
yeah.
got leaked.
Oh
It's
shit!
the biggest leak in gaming history.
I feel like the biggest leak would be like a new Elder Scrolls. Please,
No,
Seriously,
Oh.
dude, Kenny is talking about that shit too. Sometimes dude, it's like, oh man, Elder Scrolls 6 needs to happen already. I'm like, but it's Bethesda.
But what
You're
if we
right.
ported Skyrim to the Roku?
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Samsung Fridge Skyrim.
Yeah, Samsung Watch. Let's go.
But like,
No,
no,
it's-
and then also put loot boxes in it as well.
Oh.
Okay, we need
Oh,
loot boxes,
God.
and they need to
It's
be
true.
NFTs as well.
Mm.
Cryptocurrency,
Oh, God,
travel, a little
please.
bit of
God
Ethereum
damn.
on there. Oh yes,
Ethereum.
God damn it!
I ruined it. How badly did I ruin it?
You know more
We
than
were having
NFTs
just
ruin
natural
themselves.
progression.
Shay, you have a Snapchat profile picture. Are you involved with the NFT market?
Um,
Oh my
I'm gonna
god!
have you actually bring
Before
something up
Ethereum.
as well too. Now we're gonna because we did touch into a later question with like content to an extent. Like, tell me, you guys were talking about like content creation and things that you're aiming to, especially you, Frey, was talking about with that shit. But
Yeah.
we'll revisit that a little bit as well. What I want to know about is X wanted to bring something up. What was it that you mentioned
Oh, shit.
yesterday
Do I have to go
with
back?
shit? Because I think that fits well into the next question as well as like
Scroll,
bringing your
scroll,
passion
scroll,
into
scroll,
content
scroll.
creation and whatnot. But you had a topic, and I saved
Already
it,
my-
and I don't
okay.
remember. I think I
Did you-
pinned it.
dude, if you could, because I have my brain, a squirrel brain. Like,
It's all good. I think I
did say
pinned it
something, didn't I?
though. So let me check. No, I pinned the
I'm
script.
terrible at this. Dude. I've already moved on.
I am a
Fuck,
But
I
butthead.
feel-
I remember. I knew I wanted to write it down because I wouldn't remember.
No, you're good. Yep, so I found it. All right, so it might be a topic suggesting for the podcast. Trigger too much in here, but there's something to be said about the nature of content nowadays and its impacts outside of immediately visible ROIs, views, subs, etc. Seriously struggling getting through the entire production circuit of YouTube efforts, big time. Wondering how to change the approach itself and sentiments around ROI, and you said that there was a rabbit hole with it, and not even the data, but the process itself,
Yeah.
you were saying. As well
Yeah.
as being able to have creative momentum. And trust me, I feel that with the motivation thing. What the fuck is this at the bottom of this? No, get that out of here. That
What?
baby tire needs to die.
I thought you meant the nice reach, lol.
No, the baby tire needs to commit
thing-
die.
It's a
thing Chris-
really cool baby.
Chris Raygun's Twitter banner.
Oh no. But yeah,
Look,
that's
if
what
you
you
ever-
were talking
never
about
mind.
was like the ROIs and subs and stuff, and like I guess the process behind that shit. I don't know, because you
Yeah.
sound like you definitely want to talk about in general. Like you seem to be like, how
Yeah.
are you going on the content creation side of it? Let's start there. This is a lot of shit.
I mean, yeah, it's worth clearing up what I mean by ROI. So return on investment, a bit of a business thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's
Figured.
usually used in reference to financial returns. So like you invest whatever time and money, and your investment should return you more money, and hopefully you get so efficient at it that it returns you your time back, because you're going to optimize and you're going to be able to move that stuff forward. How I mean it from a content production perspective is that not all of us have the same goal to make money. I mean, that can be a goal, but that's not necessarily the goal of all artists. Like, all artists or creators, they do invest their time though. And so the currency comes down to, it's either literally money that you're investing in something in order to make it grow, or to get reach, or to get whatever success is defined as for you, or it's going to be like you invest your time. So when you invest your time, what is it you're looking for to get in return. Like there's got to be some sort of value that you place on that acceptance criteria. Is it going to be growth with subs? Is it going to be views? Is it just going to be like how much engagement you get from the audience you're trying to tap into? Is it to just inspire yourself to create more works? And it becomes a little bit of a rabbit hole when the ROI isn't necessarily money based. It's not really growth based, although growth is a part of it because at least from a YouTube content creation perspective, you know, like as a creator, getting any kind of feedback is the kind of feedback that becomes the fuel that allows you to then juice up and go. Like you want to be able to have some kind of motivation that makes your time value become something that gives you the return. And so YouTube for me has now turned into a bit of a production rabbit hole because you just kind of keep doing it. And if the YouTube platform isn't really positioned to really provide reach and discoverability, especially to smaller channels, because, well, competition, one thing, yes, but also the algorithm keeps changing. So if the algorithm keeps changing, it sort of benefits those that are already in position to maximize and leverage the people that they already have in order to inject the algorithm with something that then moves it forward. But the channels that are smaller, they don't have that. They don't have that way to inject the algorithm in order to get that reach.
Where's
easily.
my financial advisor?
And
So
I want to hire X as my financial advisor.
And my silver play button.
I mean, guys,
Yeah.
basically just breaking down exactly how you need to figure out exactly what it is you want and how to get
what
it,
do you
right?
want?
That is true.
What do you want?
There's a
And
huge
then
topic right now.
Yeah, and how
Yeah.
do you keep on generating that kind of momentum to keep wanting to do the parts that are actually work? Like they're taking up your time, they're taking up your mental energy. Like the production side of YouTube, you can make it easy, but sometimes it's not easy, but you are putting time into that. And so you want to get something back for that. And if you don't have that clearly defined for you as a creator, the creative juices are going to run out, you know, and so I don't know. For me in particular, it causes me to deviate. Like I disconnect, and then I go look for something else that inspires me creatively, so that I can use that energy to possibly bring it back. Like I want to be able to bring a fuel back somehow into whatever projects that I still want to maintain, but I just don't have the time for it. So the return on investment has to get deviated. So that's kind of the rant towards that little comment there. Hopefully. I didn't derail
No, I
it
think
too
I understand now.
badly there,
The
but
thing
No,
is,
no, it makes total sense.
I get it.
the thing is, why I wanted to also go into that one and have you kind of explain that as well too, and I'm glad that you did as well, is my issue, this works with my field, with programming, this works in so many different aspects of everything. I think people cling way too hard on terminology with things, and I'm not saying that you do specifically, because you're actually really good at being able to explain shit that is not something within my field of expertise in a way that I can understand it. I've been doing a lot of fucking reading on books recently, specifically about like education, learning, and being able to quantify shit in your head, hilariously enough. And I think that that's like a problem with how we are taught in general in schools. It's like, they're like, yeah, just pound it into their head until you get it. So people stick to like these words that they remember with things, but they might not necessarily know how to cling to it to, you know, again, to quantify it. So when you used ROI as a phrase, I was like, what the fuck is he on about? But when you explained it, it's like, oh, okay, cool. Now I can understand how to apply that. It's like the same issue that I bumped into with my fucking calculus class. But yeah, like I'm glad that you went into that detail, because that is a major thing for being able to understand fucking anything. So,
you know, taking a business term, but really applying it to that creative cycle. So I'm very much left and right-sided brain. I'm a programmer and an artist, and so I've trained in both. And so I'm, currently in life, like I'm trying to use a lot of the stuff that comes from the programming side of the world, the methodologies used there, et cetera, deconstructionism and stuff like that, but then applying it to the left side, like bringing some sort of order to the chaos, or vice versa, bringing the chaos to the order and finding out how those things jam, you know? And so, yeah, it's kind of just a bit of a journey I'm on too, is to try to create a language around some of that creative stuff that doesn't make sense, you know? And I don't know, in a sense, like try to help artists out of that rut, you know, but at the same time, kind of warn them about it early enough, you know, that you really have to have your mission statement, you know.
No, absolutely.
It's not something we think about when we just want to create, you know.
Mind if I bounce off that topic, right?
Oh,
Absolutely, that's what this podcast is for. You have the floor, Frey.
No,
Dang.
stay quiet.
I love
Don't say
the floor.
anything.
Oh god, the floor. Okay, so cool. On that note, I think there are two main points to make on that. Like, one of them is everyone's going to be at their own point when it comes to the creative process. Some of them, like I see some people in chat, Who is currently saying, hey, if only I knew what on earth I actually want. That's a very real point in being a creator, like not knowing what it is you want to do specifically, but knowing that you want to do something and not even knowing where to start. There's a definite exploration point to that, where in comparison to, well, I know what I want, but I don't have the resources to get it. Well, how do I get there? I think there are different sorts of advice or sorts of paths people take in order to get those different needs met and then move on to different stages. But the other part, I think, is specifically when we're talking about motivation or the ROI. Let's say the ROI is just figuring out how... Forget the ROI. It's about making sure to build that bridge between left brain and right brain.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that I've found, and you're going to believe that I'd say this, but I swear it makes sense if you put it into practice. I've found that if you start by just breaking everything down to the smallest degree possible, writing it down, pros and cons or necessities, whatever, and see what the most rational thing is, and see if that works, that's the best first step. And then if that doesn't work, try the thing that makes the least sense but is the most doable.
Yep. So it's the word I like using that Fox knows. It's called disruption. It's like any time in life.
Yep.
And we say this in chat all the time, right? It's like when you're stuck, you really want to go, man, what's the opposite thing right now? Like, even if it's not comfortable, and you go, let's just disrupt shit. Let's find out, right? And then you go halfway, right? And you're like, oh no, bad move, fuck off, time to reverse course, right? But you might learn something on that journey that you take away into the next step. So
yeah, exactly.
Great call out.
Yeah, like one example that I can definitely give, which many of you were here for when we were doing PM Jeopardy, the second one specifically. And eventually, Yokumi made the first video on the first game on that, and I made the second one.
Yes, PM Jeopardy with nuts.
Yeah, exactly. Originally, I wasn't going to do that. I just wanted to focus on lobotomized and make like the animations for it, but I'd never used After Effects, which I'd use Premiere, but After Effects is like better for making stuff look good instead of be made in video good. Yes, the game was rigged from the start, which was fucking hilarious. But I never thought that I would do that. I thought, okay, maybe this will just be a nice short thing. But no, it turned into an entire, you know what, let's just have 6 or 7 different scenes animated in all different ways, because I don't know what I'm doing, so we may as well find out. Like, on the surface, that sounds like a waste of time, and I can't really recommend it all the time, but it also is like, hey, I have momentum and the tools to put something out there and still meet my overarching end goals. And somehow I think that led to doing better with both lobotomized and also like the editing freelancing business I've started. I can definitely say that has helped both in experience and actually getting work. So yeah.
Yeah, that video definitely built a kind of a portfolio for you there. And
yes.
Probably like a solid portion of it. Like you did 6 whole different kinds of things. That's whole 6 different kind of things people can know that you can do. So neat.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing I need to work on actually, is like a portfolio for things, especially with code. It's kind of big. I'm gonna wind up making sure that I keep all of my projects and stuff that I do through college for sure. Yeah.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, you would want that easily.
But yeah, no, absolutely a big thing. But yeah, no, I love where that conversation is going, though, with there. Does anybody have anything to add on or springboard off of right there? Something that's on their mind that was brought up from that? Going
it's
once?
A whole entire topic right now. This basically implosion of every content creator.
That's true. That is very true.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely had it myself. I was definitely thinking at some point while streaming, just thinking, there's no fucking way I'm going to be just like streaming video games this entire time. This is boring. So this is obviously why I'm like here, this kind of thing.
Which is
And the-
great,
Yeah.
and I love it. Honestly, this is one of the main reasonings why I really wanted to do this whole podcasting thing too. And I'm I'm genuinely fucking just gushing over having you guys on for that. 'Cause, like, I'm loving
Hell yeah.
seeing you guys just enjoy the shit that you enjoy and talking about it here. Because that was the fucking point of this, is just to get other content creators and be like, yo, take a minute, gush about the shit that you enjoy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's one of my main driving things for the point of what I want my channel to be. I feel like we live in way too much of a... I've been around too many people in my life, okay? How many people have you talked to? In general,
Enough.
right? We're like, fair. How many people have you spoken to where, like, they'll talk about something, they get really excited about it, they'll talk about it. It's usually the really apologetic people afterwards. They'll be like, oh, well, my bad. They feel like they were bothering you because they took up a lot of your time. I fucking love hearing those kind of conversations from people, dude.
That's
Like,
literally
honestly,
me.
it's probably like half of everybody in this fucking chat, if not a good majority of them. But, like, I feel like passionate people that just are really, really, really passionate about, like, they always feel like, I don't know where that mentality quite comes from, though, but, like, I wanted to be, when I started to do this whole, like, this Fox thing, when I changed over from, like, the old channel name of The Silent Deviant to now and whatnot, is like, I want to be that guy where you guys just gush about the shit that you enjoy. There's gonna be the place where we can collect all of that kind of crap and be like, yo, go off. Show me the shit that I want, that you're really passionate about, and I'll springboard off of it. Speaking of, everybody who's been throwing shit in my music hall, I need to listen to that. Bug me. You can at me about it if you want. But I want to start going back through that because I'm very backlogged on my music hall. Because I actually went through a long spur with anybody that put anything in there, I would stop, I'd listen to it, have something to say. But I'm a music guy, you know? So what I like to do, I like to hear the shit that you guys want to, like, you know what I mean? Like, just that kind of stuff. I think we even got a guy that's in our, I assume I shouldn't do that, but I believe some random tryhard, yes, in our server actually kind of got into making music because I was trying to push them to do so. And whatnot. I was like, you don't have a DAW, you don't have a this or whatever to do things. They really enjoyed, like, just making little MIDI beats on an app on their phone and whatnot. I was like, create. That's the best suggestion that I can give you. If it's something that you enjoy, it's something that you like, you want to get into music creating and you don't have anything to do it, create. That's what I did when I got into LP originally when I was doing Let's Plays. I couldn't really handle much of it and I had a really shitty laptop. I made a Let's Play. I wanted to basically just have my run-through of the old RPG horror Misao back then, and they were, like, really low-tier, like, games that you could run on a fucking toaster, and that was how I started Let's Playing. It's very low quality, 480p, but, like, it's there.
Oh, damn.
That I can view that anytime I want on my YouTube channel. Now, like, you know what I mean?
The point is that you started, so it's good.
I would never, like, think that was a waste of my time either, because I learned a lot of shit with video editing from that as well. It was how you get it, like, just make shit. And that's the problem that I'm running into now, especially with, like, making music when I really want to get into it, is that motivation to do it. It's more important that it is just out there in the world and floating around. You can return to it later and turn it into something else if you really want to, but it needs to be out of your mind and in the living, breathing world for it to count for something. Just create it, no matter how much that you're thinking about. Oh, well, it's not. Doesn't matter with the comparisons either, too. And I have a whole book that talks about these kind of things, too. Steal Like an Artist, I've been quoting, like, fucking gospel. Read that book. If anybody is a fucking left brain kind of person with that shit, like, just do it. But
Can't vouch.
Very good book. But, like, it just needs to be out of your brain, and even if it's just on paper somewhere. So, that's a big one.
I remember, like, this was, like, way back when. This never made it to YouTube because it would have gotten copyright struck instantly. But I remember, like, making and spending absurd hours on it. 12 hours in Premiere on a 1-minute video in, like, 2015 on my dinky-ass laptop. And it was just taking Danganronpa 2 cutscenes. And, I guess, spoiler alert, whatever. And just taking... Oh, yeah, fair. Just taking them and syncing songs to them is Yokumi Def.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Great. All right, great. So imagine the first one is like the Death of Teru Teru. I just synced that execution up to Mama, I'm Coming Home.
Oh my god.
And then same with the fifth execution, who I'm not even going to say, but it goes really well with Domo Arigato, Mr. Roboto.
Wow.
Oh my god!
And just like the last one, like when you're having that last argument and you're like getting the really big bullet.
What are you doing?
What?
I deafened so I wouldn't hear Danganronpa 2 spoiler.
Oh, we're still talking about it.
Shit,
Almost
okay.
done.
Okay.
Give it the count of 10. Give the count of 10.
Okay.
Anyway, Ninja Sex Party has this song called "Everybody Shut Up."
Yes.
And the next words in it, when you're, charging up the energy to make your rebuttal as the bullet gets longer and longer, the song just goes, "Everybody shut up, I have an erection."
Oh my god, yes, I remember that shit.
Yeah, but the idea is that there's just... Oh, nice, you're doing the Macarena.
Of course.
But the point I'm getting to, even if nobody sees it, if you have this idea in your head that feels like it'd be so satisfying to come to fruition, that can just drive you long enough to get some worthwhile experience, even if it's crummy, even if it's not up to your par, but you made it and it exists in a form that didn't. If you have that, just get started. Find any reason to start, which is the hardest thing for sure, but you got something.
But if it motivates you, where you're like, oh man, the brain wheels are going and stuff, like then that's when you take advantage of that and go forward with it. Like the times where I have made like the better songs and stuff that I've had are those moments where like my brain goes somewhere and it plays a melody in my brain or something while I'm at work, because I like dissociate fucking hard while I'm at work, because that's where like all my ideas come from and whatnot. Yokumi should be good, by the way, but like. That is when I have made, like, some of the more, like, the songs that I'm more proud of, is when it comes to that shit, where I'm like, no, you know what, no, I'm not gonna wait, I'm gonna do it as soon as I get home. And I just start writing shit down, and I just start going from there. Or I'll start a stream, that was that one time when I did things, and, that's, like, probably my personal favorite thing that I've made so far, other than the For Dead Girl cover, but, yeah.
Oh, wow, nice.
I probably should do more covers. I feel like it'd be a lot easier than making my own shit, to be honest with you.
I mean, that is a good way some people started. Like, Nate Wants to Battle started that way.
Oh,
True.
absolutely.
And
Absolutely. So,
way.
possible Rise Against covers coming up in the future, by the way, guys.
Oh, yeah.
Hype.
But yeah, absolutely. And also, another big thing that I would say, too, this is really funny because this is actually just a question for later on with, like, the creative shit for motivation and whatnot. And another thing that I'm just going to tack onto that one as well. Having a buddy or two that can help echo chamber you to do things as well, cling to that. That was the main reasoning why I was able to change my diet for a while, and I went mostly vegan for a while, was because I had a buddy at work that kind of was like, yeah, just go for it. It's really not as hard as you think it is. And he wasn't being a dick about it, and then he was just a normal, chill dude that's like, you can do it, here's some suggestions and whatnot. And I was like, fuck it, sure, let's go with it. And it was an interesting time, for sure. But having a friend that'll, like, motivate that shit out of you is, like, some of the best ways to go. That also works well with working out and whatnot, too. Definitely.
Oh, yeah.
But, alright, so to rope things back in just a little bit here for the content creator side of things. So we kind of got an idea with, like, goals and whatnot that we want to do with content creation, yeah? Like, Ed, what do you want to do as well, too? Like, have you ever thought about that, or are you just still figuring that shit out?
Ed, what are you doing with your life?
Don't ask me
Why are
that
we still
question.
here?
That gives me existential dread.
Oh, no!
That's healthy.
Man. A wee dose is okay.
Yeah. It keeps you normal, keeps you regular.
Keeps you humble.
Makes you shit.
Grounded. That makes you shit, too, yeah. Like
That's what I meant by keeps you regular. Yeah, God. So as I said, I am a leech currently. I am in other people's content, but I have none of my own, so... Yeah, that's fun.
To be honest, it's perfectly fine. He's like the top, like, just chatting streamers like Mizkif. Do you know Mizkif was just Ice Poseidon's cameraman?
Yeah,
you're right though.
Yeah, it's like that it can just happen.
Like the same thing.
Just gotta leech off the right person.
I mean, if we're talking about ways to just get involved and like dip a toe or do something, that is a way to do it. That being involved in someone else's stuff.
Yeah, no, it absolutely is. Some people just are better doing that. Like, you know how many fucking VTubers that I've seen specifically, like, reflect off of each other to do other collabs? Some people are totally fine with that. I personally like doing my own shit, and then will mingle with people when I feel like mingling with them. You know, introverts are just like that.
That's how it should be.
Well,
yeah.
Exactly. Okay. But yeah. Here's why. And actually, I talked to Yoki about this, like, really, like, I think it's, like, yesterday. 2 days ago? Yesterday?
Okay.
I don't know. You know, I was talking about how the algorithm's bullshit, and I think it still is bullshit. But
Definitely.
that's besides the point. No, the reason I don't do it is just a pure lack of motivation and the lack of interest it will probably be, because I am not interesting by myself. I am the most unfunny person. I have to have somebody to bounce off of, or else it's going to be very unfunny.
Do scripted shit. You're into writing.
That's
Do
true.
scripted shit.
That is big true.
Got it.
Like that's where my suggestion would be. Do scripted shit. You are probably going to heavily, because I've been there and I am that guy, and that's why I don't do it as often as I would like to, on top of time constrictions as well. You are probably going to chastise yourself over and over again about, man, there are people who do the same shit ultimately way better than I do, but you should do analysis about shit that you want to talk about.
But if you're not doing the Mr. Beast meta on YouTube, you're not going to get anywhere with that.
Well, try not to think about the numbers where it's going to get you, though. Like, just try to do it for the practice for now, for the script writing ideas, for an idea on how to get the structure of the video, just so that you can, because that's a major thing in general. You have to start somewhere with that shit and pick up speed, and then the snowball starts rolling. Like, because my snowball only started rolling because of fucking LC, and that was just by fluke. And it's not even that big in any way, shape, or form, though. But like, that's where things picked up for me.
No, you're engaged.
Like, oh shit, he's been the same for 5 years. Like,
you know, if you think about it, all of like the biggest videos on yours, because I did some research on this. The biggest video on each of your channels is LC related or Project Moon related in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
But even the X's.
Yeah.
I actually haven't checked X's.
I don't know what his biggest stuff would be. X, do you want to chip in on that?
Yeah, I went into RPGs. So Fox and I met. It was 2016, I think.
He's my oldest content creator friend.
Yes, we were both starting straight up. And it's we were doing some indie mix. We did Dig or Die together, and I think that was like
we need to do more of that, dude. Oh my god,
still a fun game, man. Come on.
Yes.
I deviated into RPGs because I was a big narrative kind of guy. Like I just like to deconstruct storytelling and characters development and stuff. So, and I had taken such a long break from gaming that when I got back into it, I had to re-experience like a decade worth of games that I sort of just missed out on. So I went into the Dragon Age stuff and then Mass Effect, and I kind of from there that sort of like kicked things off. More of that story heavy, story driven narrative experiences. So. I think BioShock is in there somewhere as one of the early catalysts. BioShock 1. But yeah. It's more.
Listen, more shoot. Comic relief is important. Everybody needs some of that.
Not to be mistaken with RPG, Fox.
I mean, I don't know. I guess I could stream. I was thinking about streaming like semi-regularly because
you mentioned like the essay thing. I think is a good idea, right? If you want to kick something off and you just want to
do some evergreen shit, you really with it. Yeah, streaming is easier, but you want evergreen shit that's there so people can find it.
It's evergreen. It's still got a market for essay. It's topical. Like you can be.
That's why I said
personality into it. You know.
So, yes.
That's why I said semi-regularly, because obviously I do college 4 days a week.
Chip away at it. You said you write on the side, and that's your passion. You enjoy it. I say chip away at that stuff. Break it down into like modularize your target and just break that thing down, man, and just start chipping away at it. And when you get the script done, it gets easier, right? When you record your audio and then you find the footage, right?
Oh my god!
So do things
I literally started out as specifically improv, and then it turned into scripting because I realized the value of scripting things. My favorite thing is I like to use it to bounce off of. Like I won't read everything word for word, and a lot of times when I make a hiccup on things, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I'm really good at one of my bigger strengths that I have, especially with script reading, my god, is I have good recovery when I fuck up, and I like to keep that in the script. I've learned to stick with that for like improvisation with things. So that's why a lot of times in my videos you'll just hear me just fuck in the background or something, and I just like cut it into something else or whatever. Like that, I keep that shit because it's just it's so on brand for me.
I'll say this. When the Anomaly Hunt script was finished initially, that was the most satisfying feeling in the world for me.
Good.
Was that, thank God, it's done. Not that I didn't have fun working on it. So it wasn't like oh my God, thank God. So it was like more like
it is work.
It comes to fruition in a way.
Yep. Oh, dude, I got a fucking amazing idea that you should do. Actually, are you serious about the lobotomy campus thing?
That might be more prominent now since the Anomaly Hunt has shifted mediums. Yeah.
When your schedule unloads a little bit on projects with that, I'm serious, either devlog it or do like a progress with it over time. If that is one thing that people fucking eat up, though, with things for sure, too, that'll work out really well. I can't, like, guarantee you that it's like, oh, man, it's gonna blow up or something, though, but that is a good topic to do with things, is, people like stories, man. People don't want to watch people fail and fucking, like, drop the ball on shit. They want to see you start something out from beginning to end. That's why videos of, like, time-lapsing of shit is so eaten up all the time with things. With anything.
I once just let a time-lapse of a watermelon rotting in a plastic giant bin for 600 days, just come up on my feet and let it play off before even knowing what it was about, just because, oh crap, well, something's going to happen here. I can't wait to find out what.
Exactly, and it's exciting to people. Like, that's a big thing. So if you, especially, it's a good way to also keep motivation with something that you want to do as well, because now you'll start to, like, cling to that as well. Where you're like, oh, well, I got to do a little progress log and keep this thing going. Like, it's a great way to echo chamber motivation for shit. That's why I wanted to do that with my demo for my RPG ages ago with shit. And I simply just don't have the time right now, but I will revisit it to get a demo out. But
this time-lapsing stuff just unlocked an ancient memory, and it is unmotivational for me because one of the earlier time lapses I've ever seen is a corpse rotting, and that gave me thanatophobia.
Oh no! Was this like live leak?
Yeah, it's one of those like ancient live leak videos, dude. That shit's fucked.
No. Dude, I would get into time-lapse drawing if it wasn't for the fact that I don't have a good camera for it right now. I wanted to do that because I still have my tripod for it, man. I should do that, X. You should do that with me. We need to time-lapse draw shit.
It was like pre-YouTube for me. My first shot at it was time-lapse drawings, yeah.
We should do that together for like a fucking stream at some point, dude, and then time-lapse it into a video. That'd be like a really funny thing to do, which is like, all right, cool, draw your representation of this thing. I'll do my weeb version of it, and then you can do your more probably comic book inspired version of it. It'll be great. And then Frey can do a stick figure.
Nice.
Yo, I'd love to do a stick figure. Hell yeah!
That funny enough, that was a idea I had, was doing
stick figure animations.
A stick figure VTuber. That was an idea I had.
Yeah, like
honestly,
work easily
you can
too.
make that pretty well animated.
No, yeah, just a stick figure.
You have a certain person here that could help you with that.
yeah, me. It's me.
Yes, it's me.
I would have a Beano one by now. I'm not gonna talk about that, but that's a story for another day.
Oh man, yes, lovely. And I guess to kind of like wrap that one up as well too. So we kind of went with certain tips already as it was though, but if y'all had any like one particular lesson that stood about anything else while you were going through content creation, or any tips to throw regarding anybody getting into content creation as well, now I would say is a good time for that.
Oh shit, yes.
Oh boy, we should do a round table.
Oh, abso-fucking-lutely. Who wants to take the floor first?
Keep me out of this one.
I will.
That's the whole idea. We're throwing it at you, my friend. This is supposed to be a vague thing, but it's like I think that this can work well to give you an idea.
All right, you know what? I got something.
Yeah, I'm all ears.
God, I gotta summarize this right in a sentence. Get into this for the right reasons.
Yeah.
And that's gonna start off vague, get more specific. I think anyone who seriously considers this should really just start making something and see if they're happy with it before trying to turn it into any kind of career, because you're going to be doing a lot of stuff, tireless nights, before you get any semblance of a lot of, kind of like what Shay said, what most people would consider a return on investment, like a following or any kind of money or any kind of connections, anything like that. But make sure that if you're doing something simple, like simple idea that you've probably heard before, do something you feel like adds value to your life. And if it is, that's great. Make sure, and then move on to say, hey, is it going to add value to someone else's life? And then see how you can do that better and faster. And then in the pursuit of that, even if it doesn't work out, you will inevitably find something that is valuable from that time that you enjoy. And if you don't, you are not stuck in there forever, and you can just leave. That's why you only want to invest yourself to a certain degree at the start.
Mm-hmm.
I'll add just one last thing that I know. I know in fact there are some people that have fucking 700,000 subscribers.
Mm.
And there have been moments in the very recent recent times where they have had to stay up 47 out of 48 hours just to meet their needs as a creator and pay the bills.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it for the money.
Yeah, it is literally like there's a whole video that you can see about that. If any of y'all watch Devin Nash videos, then you know what I'm talking about. If you don't watch Devin Nash videos, if you want to get into serious content creation, he's got a lot of good shit with that. There is a thing to be said about mental health. Especially in the entertainment career in general, but especially for streamers. Your hours for what you put into for being able to do that for like money it is insane. On Twitch, you are literally the top 1% for having 400 or more viewers, by the way. That is the top 1%. On Twitch, and those people, I'd say they make enough to make a living out of it. You must have, at about that point, if you're like partnered and 400 and up, though. But like, just think about that and think about how many people. I don't know about you guys, but like, I watch a lot of people that are definitely under the 400 for sure. I'm not really like a bigger content creator watcher to begin with, though. But like, and their chats are not inactive. Like, you know what I mean? They have a decent community with it, and then you look down and they're. And numbers aren't everything. It's not to just shit on people, though, but it's like, I'm talking about, like, anywhere from 70 to 200, like, fucking concurrent watching channels with that kind of shit. And I've seen them struggle when they want to do that kind of shit full time. I've seen a lot of channels do that shit. So, yeah, absolutely. There is a thing to be said about health, physical and mental otherwise, when it comes to that shit. To be prepared for that if that's a thing that you want to do with, like, the streaming side with shit. And it helps to have I would say even a primary goal, but I guess it could be a secondary other thing that you're trying to also accomplish with that if you do want to, you know, turn it into a job. But yeah, absolutely. I think I broke something. Oh, no, Discord broke. Okay, Discord just broke.
Okay, cool.
Oh, no!
No, Discord just exploded.
Well, that's been the stream, everybody. Thanks for coming
No,
on.
the stream is still going, is the funny thing.
Hey.
All of our PNGs are gone.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So, all right, hold up. I don't know how to fix that.
What I was going to say, I was actually going to piggyback off that.
Go for it, then.
Well, you fix that, I'm assuming.
I don't think I can right now.
But like I follow people who have like 7,000 followers on Twitch, right? But they only pull like 200 like viewers a stream.
You still hear us? Fantastic.
That's a lot. That's a huge percentage.
It's like it feels like an anomaly to me, though. It feels like a blip that shouldn't that doesn't seem right.
173.
Like you are pulling like about like less than 1% of like that's how math works.
I got distracted there. What's the context there? What did you?
I'm saying how I follow people who have like 7,000 followers, but they pull like 200 views like on average.
Yep. No, everything should still be going fine. Discord itself just exploded. Is all. That's what the problem was there, guys.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that's a baby number. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that your ratio to people who like watch to your total following, it's like. Where does that number come from, though?
Yeah, well, there is a number out there that is like, I'm speaking from a YouTube perspective, but you know, if you get even like 3%, 3 to 5% is generally where if you get that, you're probably okay. You know, now if you get 10% ratio of subs to views, that's actually really, really good. So if you got again 100,000, you're pulling in 10,000 views.
There are metrics that people will tell you. It's something that you would know more if you were really if you were bigger, though. For sure, they do have metrics though for this, absolutely, because obviously we're a data-driven fucking species,
right? And it's content based, right? Like gaming will do different than educational and stuff like that. Like there's a big variance, but if you go from 3 to 10%, that's usually the range you want to fall in. If you fall under 3%, that's where you kind of have to. Yeah, that's part of what I was talking about with the whole like it's not burnout, because I'm not burnt out. I do plenty of other stuff outside of YouTube. It's more you know, you get to a point where that ROI for me is like, what's the value of my life? Like what? Jesus, that came out dark, but like, but it's like, what do I want out of this? That's going to I don't motivate me to create more and do other stuff, you know. And it's that if it goes under 3% for me, I know it's just a number, right? But for me, I'm very data driven in this sense, and for me, that's something's not right. But here's the thing: like I've got like dossier sort of documents on like other channels like I evaluate, and like I see that the big channels are getting under 3% nowadays in the last year or two or something like that. Something's fucked up. Like that's just like
what I'm asking though is where the hell does that number come from in the first place? Where does like 7,000 come from?
Just probably
what do you mean?
observed
Just
and witnessed
retention.
trends.
Well, okay. Well, I should specify this is like this is an indie VTuber as well.
So you're saying just like how do you get to 7,000 subscribers, but then only pull in say 200 views or something like that? Or
you have like 7,000 followers or like 7,000 subscribers, and we pull like an average 200 views a video. Like, why is there such a disparity? Like in general?
Not everyone can watch at the same time.
I do have something I'd like to add on. I think I can answer that one.
Yeah, go for it.
It's because just because people follow doesn't mean they stay. For instance, their interest may be for a specific topic or stream, or hell, maybe just someone rated that person and they decided to follow in order to get access to the chat.
A lot of people do that out of niceness too.
Yeah, so it can very well be they had reasons to follow, not to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for the YouTube side of thing, that works with subscriptions as well. How many videos have you guys seen on YouTube where, like, the midpoints or whatever the case, they'll be like, only X% of you are actually subscribed to the channel? That's a real analytic you can see, and it is pretty fucking accurate with things, and it's for a very similar reason. And I think about things that I do with people that I watch on YouTube, because sometimes you just get that one video. There are so many people that I will watch that I don't have subscribed, because I'm one of those types of people where I like to keep my fucking follow list very clean and not sprawling with things where I don't know for a fact that I'm going to go back to it. So I usually will keep the name fresh in my mind because I have a decent enough memory to be able to keep that in mind. And plus, analytics are going to do that. So they'll just pop up and be like, yo, so you watch this guy's one video, here's another one by them. And then you sample it more and you realize, I want to follow that person. You know how many fucking Elden Ring content creators that I've watched shit for that I have not subbed to in the recent week or two? So there's that reasoning too.
And with that, here's my next question. A follow up on this.
Yeah.
This isn't me like a demeaning question. This is like a genuine question.
Yeah, let's go.
Out of your fan bases currently, your follower bases on Twitch or YouTube, whatever's bigger, how much do you think that's from LC or Project Moon property alone?
Hilariously, I have a schism in mine, but you go ahead and take the floor on that first, Frey.
I'd say the majority of it, and that's because I think we've talked about this, but I have definitely geared myself more towards working with the Project Moon content, mainly because I do find genuine joy in it. I find that there is a story worth sharing, not just because it's good, but because it feels like it's shrouded in so much complexity that it just hasn't had the opportunity to be shared in a way that's accessible. So I am aware that I do have the Project Moon community very much to thank for as far as I've gotten. Sure, there are other people that have come by for like Yu-Gi-Oh, Muck, maybe some reason for Cult of the Lamb. But while I don't like the idea of pigeonholing myself in a single topic, I do know the value and necessity even of at the start making sure to know what kind of community you want to build and be around and how that can pay off. It can be a cynical thing, sure, but in my case, at least, I feel like it's just as genuine as it is cynical.
I mean, y'all are about to hit gold soon. Limbus Company comes out in a couple months, so y'all are about to strike gold.
So, funnily enough, I have no idea how much I care about Limbus.
No, honestly, I think pretty much everybody's kind of in the similar boat with it. Really, I'm going to one-off it for sure and see how it goes. It's not going to be a thing I'll dedicate into for sure, but I can feel that. Also, with the because I actually kind of lost my train of thought a little bit. What you were going into something there for a minute, Frey? Just refresh me, because my brain is having a hemorrhage.
Oh my! What was I going into? Something about pigeonholing?
Oh yeah. Okay, so the different audiences, right? I was trying to remember what Ed's question was. Yeah. Weirdly enough, I have a little bit of a schism with some of the shit that I do. I know that a lot of people definitely came in for the LC side of shit, though, but I feel like the people who stick around, who talk, and all this other stuff, generally are also into the analytical side of shit that I do in general with things, so they do branch out to all of that other stuff for the people that are the more names that I can remember. Like, who, fucking Ghost Sock, Huck, all those people, some random tryhard, Hero Rookie, all those people. Fly Goniax I haven't seen in a hot minute, but flies around every now and again. But, Like those kind of names and whatnot. Like, yeah, there were people that definitely popped around for LC, a good majority. And hilariously, I would say about the divide would be somewhere between that magical number 80-20 rule. The other 20 is probably, honestly, some of the shorts that I've done with stuff. I don't know if you guys have seen the fucking Girls Frontline one-offs that I've done.
Oh my god!
I've had people follow around and stick in streams over that stupid shit, dude. And it's so funny. But I definitely have some Girls Frontline fans and people that are like mobile game players that are farting around here and there as well, too. But yeah, no, absolutely, I feel that. I feel like most of the people that definitely like just mingle for me as well are people that I've just made a connection with personally as well, because it's just generally was the goal anyway when I was getting into Let's Playing, was I was like, I want to meet people through this because it sounds like fun.
Easily.
And it has been fun.
It has been. I have friends, guys. Oh my god.
Yes. We went out to a convention together and saw each other. It was awesome.
I know, right? It was fantastic.
I perceived you with my eyes.
Yes, this was a thing that happened. And next I need to meet all of my Canadian buddies. That's the next goal on the list, is to get a passport and meet my Canadian content creator friends. I'm serial about that too. I have about 3 people in Canada that I need to meet.
Nice.
So,
Glad of that.
Like one big reason that I even got into creating is because I wanted to meet more people like this. For like a big thing that keeps me going is saying, you know what? I may just be dinking around taking editing orders in an office in Texas right now, but the more I do this, the more people I meet, the more cool people who actually seem enthusiastic about something I'll get to be around, who want to make something really cool, and also
it's always a possibility, Morshu, especially if I become more social and have a bigger following for going to more cons and stuff. It's always on the chopping block.
I think there's a genuine moral, positive aspect to that.
Absolutely.
And, yeah, make the masochism jokes if you want, but...
Do you want to add anything, Shay?
Or Yokumi?
Or Yokumi.
Or Yokumi, yeah.
Or Yokumi.
It's silent for
I
a
forget
while,
what the main topic is right now.
It was mostly like tips and stuff, though, for content creators. That's where we bounced off of and whatnot. It was like your bigger struggles, things that you bumped into, that was something that you would suggest for anybody getting into it as well. And again, this was originally for like a more general topic. Also, before we jump into this too, I'm going to pop out of this call and back into it because none of our bubbles are jumping.
None of our avatars are
So I'm going to do that really quickly, but that's basically what the concept of it was.
I want to correct myself real quick. Fox's biggest video is a Girls Frontline video. I apologize.
No, it is not. It can't be. There's no way. My biggest video is definitely Starbound in 2019.
Your recent Girls Frontline, I hit. Your recent, I was about to say,
it is definitely the Starbound video, which is really awesome, dude. I gotta be honest with you, because that is like one of my most fucking passionate games that I have.
I know, right?
It
I
is
love
one of
Starbound.
Why haven't you played this, Yokumi?
I don't know if I'm gonna do it. I might do it. I'm on the fence.
Me and X need to continue our fucking fracking universe playthrough when the whole internet thing corrects, because that's we're on a hold for that reasoning, dude. Oh, dude, we first did like the gas giant.
I'm grateful
shit.
for your patience because
it's okay,
I'd like
dude.
To get back.
Shit happens. I get it. It'll be so fun though when we can do that. All right, I'll be right back though.
Yeah. So
no, you're good.
Yeah, you're totally good.
All right, now I gotta pop Yokumi out.
There we go. Bouncy.
Bam. I think we're good. All right,
fantastic. Oh my god, you're right. It is the Starbound video. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I told you. It's like a 20, maybe 22. I don't remember. Somewhere between 22 to 24.
Yeah, revisiting Starbound 2019.
Mm-hmm. And again, like, I'm not one that likes to stare at my analytics, but it's useful information sometimes. Okay? I realized people like that shit. That was a thing that worked. It didn't quite work as well when I did the Yume Nikki one, but it did about half as good with the Boundless video as it did with revisiting Starbound in 2019. So just as a note, people kind of like that shit when you talk about like a thing as well. Like I realized that kind of worked for me. But yeah, so Yokumi, if there's anything that you want to...
Like essay-based or...
for like essays, I was like revisiting X game in this year.
Okay.
That was the thing I went with for it. Maybe my thumbnail wasn't as good for some of that shit, but yeah. But anyway, yeah, Yokumi, you have the floor.
Sure. Let me just Captain America pull out my fucking chair and sit this down.
Yes, good.
So, You wanted to be a content creator.
Oh no, you're making the pitch. You're starting the script. Let's go.
No, I'm not actually. No, but for real, since I'm reeling this back, like on the topic of burning out, figuring out what you like, everything we just talked about for the past like hour and a half, 2
That
hours.
is a question, by the way, too, as a note with the burnout thing. If you want to revisit that and like a totality thing, how to deal with it. But go ahead. If you want to like just touch it and tickle it, go for it.
Less on the burnout part, but just more of the figuring out like what you want to do. Because like, don't want to get existential. Where like we have to enjoy our time here. You cannot do bad shit forever unhealthily.
And realize 7 years of your life flew by.
Yeah,
Fox, please. Very personal.
God, let's not. I don't want to talk about my job. I don't want to go to work for 40 years and fucking die.
Wait, I was a freshman in high school 4 years ago. I graduated last.
I forgot you're a
year.
wee lad here. You're a wee lad. I'm gonna be 30
freshman.
soon, and that depresses me.
The mood for everyone here, I'm sure.
Sorry for derailing.
No, you good. It's funny. Point is, like I've seen so many content creators during their chill time, and they just talk about enjoying the process. Like that's the most important thing. If you've seen one of Devin Nash's most recent videos as to why a bunch of people are burning out, like Tyler Blevin, Pokemon,
Tyler
blah, blah, blah.
Fortnite Blevins.
It's true, it's him, the real man. Like them exploding, it honestly, it's almost expected. Just if you don't manage it well, if you don't like what the hell you're doing well, if you've seen the video, I don't need to explain way too much more. But the point is, there's so much people who don't know what they really want to do and what are comfortable with for like doing the rest of their life. It's a sort of, you need to be comfortable and happy with the process. Like you shouldn't be doing art if you're like hating yourself always, and you're like, even after you finish it sucks and you hate yourself, like then do fucking something else. Just you gotta enjoy the process.
Sunk cost, man, is also a big thing that it comes with.
Yes.
I never really suffered from sunk cost. I was one of the weirdos with that shit. But no, I feel that entirely with what you're saying. That is a big thing for sure. And I don't know. I just was really lucky when I was growing up with things where it's like sometimes you just really don't know. And I feel like this is the majority of the cases. You don't really know what you want out of a thing or life or whatever it is that you want to put into that to make it philosophical and whatnot, until you actually see it. Like, it's not as simple as that. Like, I've always kind of just, like, worded that out to people. It's like, well, what are you good at? What are things that, like, kind of spike a passion with you? I've always been a very passionate kid, though, in general. But it's like, I didn't want to code and do that as a profession because I just was like, yo, all right, cool. What's the thing that I like to do? I like to do this, that, and this. All right, cool. Programming fits that. That's not how I figured that out. I got into coding because I took an ICT class. I enjoyed typing, and then it turned into me playing Neopets on my fucking computer ages ago, and I was like, hey, HTML is kind of cool. I fucking hate HTML now, by the way, because it doesn't have a compiler when you're trying to do anything, as you can imagine, so especially with Neopets. So you just look at the thing, and you're like, all right, cool, why are these div containers not working the way that they're supposed to be? Why is this not lining up the way that it's supposed to be? And then you look at it for 20 fucking minutes, and then you realize that you missed a fucking character somewhere in the tags, and that was what the problem was the whole damn time. I hate HTML. I fucking hate HTML for that reasoning. A compiler will tell me when that shit's not there. But
I've never played Neopets. So
that's why I like the actual hard coding of doing things. I like doing the back end shit, not the front end. Front end can be for, I don't know, people like Yokumi or something. Do you do front end?
I got into coding.
I mean, actually, true.
Yeah, I got into coding because of you met him actually. He was in San Japan.
Oh yeah, good dude.
Sweden.
Good dude.
Sweden.
Yeah.
He was really funny.
Good dude. No, you have some good buddies. I will tell you that much. They were fun.
Yeah, no, he got me into the whole thing. Back when I did Danganronpa.
Plus, it's just a good. I realized it was like just a good broad job. It's not going to be any lack for it anytime soon because it was a growing thing back then, and it's even more growing now, especially now that we have shit like artificial intelligence and machine learning and various other things that are going from that. My fucking god! But like, yeah, you know what I mean. That's how that came to be. It wasn't because I was like, yeah, I want to be a coder. Like, no. I don't think anybody ever figures out what they want to do with shit until it just happens. You got to stumble on it. You got to explore shit. That's how that
You've
fucking
gotta
happens, and you gotta
find-
fail to figure it out.
Well, I think you're pressured at such an early age to
Yes,
I
that
know.
too.
Oh yes, very much so.
to know what you want to do. You know, like, oh, you don't need to know what you do. School will tell you otherwise. And believe me, like middle school was probably like the time where I was like starting to have a crisis about like what I wanted to do because I didn't know at that point.
Mm-hmm.
At first, I was like, I want to be an artist, and then by high school, by my freshman year of high school was the last time I took an art class. I haven't really done it like seriously since like like 3 years ago, almost 4 years ago now.
Yep.
But Freddie, we're gonna say something before that. I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're totally fine. I'll be honest, I kind of forgot what I was gonna say, so I'm just gonna say what I thought I was gonna say.
Go for it and try to springboard off at you.
Yeah, you got. I like how you guys are talking about like you got into coding, you got into specific sciences, because you just found something to enjoy in them, or the result, or just the specific act of doing it. Here's the funny thing: I used to work in tech support before and for a while during when I made content, and two interesting things I noticed happened during that. One. Not only did I find that I was okay at it, but definitely did not enjoy the technical aspect of things. But when talking to my my supervisors, who were, okay, all things considered, and said, "Dude, what do you want to do? How do you know when you know you want to do it in your life?" And this 32-year-old, 35-year-old, 38-year-old man just agreed and said, "I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I want." And that kind of put a lot into perspective. I mean, the poor guys.
Yeah.
No.
But like it put a lot into perspective of you don't really have to do it to know that to start.
Yeah.
And on the other end, whenever I hear people talk about tech, this is something that I'm not as impacted, or this is something I used to be very concerned about for a time, but mostly, if not totally, this has ended. I always saw technology as building something up with the skill in order to just make something that wasn't there before. And I always felt as if my skill set was greater at breaking things down, whether it's through arguments or understanding information.
I think it's literally everybody in this podcast right now. Phenomenal. Continue.
Yeah. And I think there are a lot of people that can relate to, well, I don't have this specific interest, or I don't have this interest that comes with the skill, or I don't have that. I'll just throw it out there right now. I may very well be a pathological liar that just kind of gets off on doing that. And there are healthy ways to take that skill and say, you know what? I'm going to see how much I can make a spectacle that could maybe distract someone's kids while they're running out to sneak a drink. Or in a more wholesome light, that could distract someone's kids while they're sneaking out to convince someone to give them their keys because they've had too much to drink.
Yeah.
The point is that I think it's good to find something that you're very skilled at, or find something that you're good at, but also like what's something that you feel like you enjoy doing that maybe you feel doesn't have a place, and what is a positive way that you can input that into the world that genuinely does not do harm. I think there is
I think that especially is a big one too for like what's the phrase that I'm using here, for like things that are generally looked at as, I'm not going to say like a taboo, but like a negative thing, a negative trait or quirk as well too. Because I think it's a big thing to be stated in what you said right there. What that absolutely is, to turn it into something where it's not so like, I don't know. It's weird. I love trying to break down that kind of shit. Like, social sciences are fun.
Oh, very much so. And I know I don't think this is what you were gonna say, but I'm just gonna throw it out there because I think this is a good example. I'll fucking stand with sex workers. Like, that's an industry that could very much benefit with those that are involved by at least being respected more. But yeah, I guess my point is, even if it seems like you don't have anything conventional skill-wise going for you, explore everything. When you've done everything that makes sense, try something that makes the least sense.
Yeah. Which is something that you stuck with before and you're going round table with it, and I think that there's a big thing to be stated with that one as well. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
X, what do you have to contribute after? Go ahead, though.
Okay, sorry. Very last thing.
Okay, yeah.
Plus, it is so fun to see people's confused, bewildered faces when you know you haven't harmed them, but you've definitely thrown them for a loop. All right, that's
You're
enough.
such a sadistic motherfucker.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy your gift.
It was good.
I didn't mean an old one. I meant one that's coming.
What?
What?
Anyway, Jay, please continue.
Yeah, I think a lot of the main points were already covered. I would say that, the big one for me is like, don't be afraid to try anything. Like, part of breaking down, part of getting things done sometimes is defeating your own fear. And as creators, it's very easy to convince yourself not to start something. It's harder to convince yourself to just do it. You can always, they always say like the blank page is always the most intimidating thing, right? Whether it's a writer or an artist
the blank
or even a
canvas,
coder.
no.
Like, you got to have something on the page, right? And then you work from there, you learn from it, you move on. I also want to reiterate the value of modularizing tasks, right? Just break down things that feel like a big idea. Like, you want to write a novel, well, of course that's fucking intimidating. Like, it's a lot of words, right? But if you start breaking it down to, okay, what is the main arc of this thing, and can I break this thing down into chapters? If the chapters start to make sense to you as micro stories, like you can start to focus on, well, in that micro story, how many parts are in that are going to make up that chapter, like the narrative in that chapter. Once you start breaking that thing down mechanically, I know it sounds kind of counterintuitive to break something so left-brained into something more right-brained. That's kind of the deconstruction I'm working on now, is just to try to force it into the left brain, like force it to think in patterns and execute in patterns. When you start stitching all those things together, as long as you have a very clear vision as to what that acceptance criteria is, that is going to be the value for you, then you can aim towards it one step at a time. And there's this other concept in programming, in agile methodology, which is like failing fast, right? So it's the idea that if you're going to do something and you're not 100% confident about it, just make sure you got a plan B, right? I also call it the Batman protocol at work and in my life, right?
Protocol.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You got to have a contingency plan for contingency plan, and if you're good at that, then you're not afraid to start anything, because you always know what you have to pivot to if something starts to go sideways. So yeah, it's just a way to kind of, I guess, neutralize some of that fear. Is you got to build up the confidence to just give her. Yeah.
Which it's easier said than done, but absolutely is a major fucking step with it. That even goes, again, you were talking about the blank canvas, that's drawing. That was such a problem for me, trying to like get better at drawing with things and trying to move from using bases to replicate to doing my own shit and figure out how like even something as simple as forced perspective was when I was first doing it, right? Like just simple concepts like that, and I tried to kind of just go outside of the box and come up with that shit. I would just sit there spending so much time trying to critique a particular part of the fucking thing that I was doing that I wouldn't see the big picture of it. And there are so many drawings that I've done, and I look at other people's drawings that they do too, and you kind of realize where you're like, oh, wait, that foot doesn't look perfectly real, or this doesn't, like, you know what I mean? Like, when you start to see the different details of what other people do that, like, do that professionally and stuff, and you realize they're like, oh, they went through with the flaw, or they thought that it was okay, or they turned it into a stylistic thing, or whatever the case is, but it doesn't matter, because in totality, the thing is there. You can see what they were going for with it, and you'll if you keep just critiquing that one part, you'll never get to that point. Oh my fucking! And we were just talking about this. Just somebody I was talking about this because I had a thing stirred on from this as well. No, that's a different topic. Never mind.
Just embrace that kintsugi.
Yes, absolutely, definitely that one too. But yeah, just try to get the ball rolling and keep that shit going forward with things, and try not to just get hung up on a particular... Oh, that's what it was. Yes, I was modding RimWorld, hilariously enough, is where this came from. I am a bad tinkerer with shit, and that's a lot of the reason why I don't get shit done, is because I'll be like, hey, well, it'd be really cool if I tried to fuck with this thing, all right? And then I'm like sitting there for 30 minutes because I bump into an unexpected error. This is big with coding, too, by the way. But you get into an unexpected error, you spend 30 minutes to an hour trying to figure out that one issue. All right, cool, I figured out that one issue. Now, how can I have that thing to work properly and then do this thing? And then you start tinkering with the next thing rather than doing the thing that you need to do to make it functional, to finish the fucking thing, and you never get it done. I am so awful with tinkering with things. It wastes me a lot of time with doing shit. Try not to do that, too. That's one of the better things that I can say. Like, try to more focus on just getting the groundwork for shit rather than, man, this would be really cool to do this and this. And then you wind up just falling down a rabbit hole for the next 5 hours. It also works with music. It's so many different things that can fall into, though. But music is a big one for me with that. It's like, all right, cool, that sounds cool, but can I do this drum beat 5 hours later?
Oh, there goes 5 hours.
I was like, all right, cool, well, I guess I'm not putting a song out today. Also, I want to point out too, Morshu earlier was like, dude, Frey sounds like the voice in Al Gattucci's head. Hold up for Star Wars
What?
City. Yeah.
Oh my
Excuse-
god.
Hey, at what point?
When you were going on a tear about the whole, probably the last, like the tangent that you went on right at the end, right before Jay took off. Probably
Gotcha.
with that line. Yeah, that's amazing. All right. So, anybody have anything else to throw in with the whole content creation shit? Or Ed, do you have a question beyond that? I suppose.
No, not really. I mean, I was just gonna do what I wanted to do, and
Yeah.
thanks for the advice. So
Yeah.
well, not though, but like, thank you for the advice. Also, that sounded
Yes.
really upsetting.
No, it's good.
No, we
I
did.
meant also
Yeah.
the advice is complimentary. Thank you.
All
I have nothing else to really add, unfortunately.
right, cool. Then we had that one ended off on a good note. So this is where I would do the segue over to creation and hobbies and the things that y'all like to do with your passions. So
Ooh.
I'm gonna let you brew
Oh,
on
boy.
that for a minute because I have been drinking
Cannot
way
wait.
too much
My
water,
favorite.
and I need to go and take a pippy. So I'll be right back.
Make
Pickle
it pills.
Beat this.
Ankle break.
I'm just gonna keep sending memes around. Don't worry about it.
Excellent. The sheer
Okay.
amount of memes per second is
Also,
impressive.
fun fact.
No one else can see.
I wanted the guys to see if you know any fun facts about Let's Play trivia.
do
Actually,
you mean?
who is the first Let's Player? There is an answer to this, technically.
Oh, geez,
Wasn't it
I
done
knew
on a
this one.
forum?
Nope.
It's something like that, though. It's
Oh,
something.
Nope.
God.
Not even. It was for a Nintendo Power
It was a
contest.
Nintendo, yes. Well,
Do you
so
know-
where did he post it? How did that play out again?
Jeremy.
So what happened was Chris Chan made the first Let's Play.
Oh right,
What?
that.
It was an
What?
It was an Animal Crossing video
Oh my!
of them showing their town for a Nintendo Power magazine. The video still exists. It is technically the first Let's Play. By definition of a Let's Play,
This is the same Christian?
of the
The
Sonic
same.
Sonic
The
Show
only,
Christian.
the one and only?
The
Yup.
one, the only.
Yup.
Jesus Christ.
Technically, by definition, Chris Chan has done the first Let's Play on the internet.
This man's legacy befuddles me.
We're gonna need an entire episode of this about Chris Chan.
Oh no, are you
fucking
guys getting me
break down.
canceled already on the
No,
second
no.
episode of the
I
podcast?
was so Fox. By definition,
12,
Chris Chan has the first Let's Play. By definition
Yeah.
of a Let's Play.
All right, fair enough. So that's where the
Yeah.
okay.
That's what I was saying while you were gone. I was saying fun fact. I wanted to see if they knew what the first Let's Play was, and I
I had a memory of
I was
something
shocked.
on a forum board as well, though. That it was like a play-by-play or something, and it was like the old school, not FAQs, but
well, that's the
That's it.
first like modern Let's Play, like as we know Let's Play.
Yep.
But technically,
okay.
Chris Chan did it first with Animal Crossing.
Mhm.
Of course it was fucking Animal Crossing. I'm just saying, of course it was Animal Crossing. Nothing against you Animal Crossing lovers. I love y'all. Just I do. I don't have an attachment to it personally, but I'm just saying, of course it's Animal Crossing. It's
I
like
love-
a Sims
I love you,
playthrough,
I
like
just
you know
hate
what I
what you
mean?
love.
It's like, bro, of course it's The Sims. Like it's so iconic at that point where you're like, yeah, that checks.
Oh my god, I love The Sims. Sims 4. I used to play it all the time on I own it on my PC. But,
Pretty
Nice.
much.
but I
Alright.
spent too long on character creation though, and I'm like, okay, I'm ready to play. I'm like, I don't want to play anymore.
Who
I've been playing
doesn't?
this for
Bro,
2
you
hours.
say that though, but it's like I think I literally spent 1 to 2 hours when I bought Code Vein for PC to make my model male and female in the game with a working tail and a hoe game.
It's like you playing Vermintide as well. It's like
Vermintide is so fucking good. Do any of you guys have Vermintide?
Yeah,
I do
well,
have it, but
Fun
I do.
thing
haven't
though,
played it.
I don't tend to play a lot of games
Mhm.
that lend themselves to character creation screens.
It's not a character
Really?
creation thing at all, Vermintide, but unless
Oh,
you were
yeah,
going
it's
off
not
of a
related.
different tier.
it's like Left 4 Dead, that one.
It's Left 4 Dead, but
Oh,
with
okay.
swords and shields, and you slice down fucking swarms of rats. It is
It's so
it is
good.
something like that,
beyond
yeah.
cathartic. Dude, I just
Okay.
got my bounty hunter, like Victor, up to level 30 now, so
Oh.
now I can
I-
go gun, go
Oh,
burr.
boy.
Like, the game is
Oh,
over.
boy.
Burger.
I have a content creation question actually. This is
Yeah,
not
all right,
about
sure,
anything.
absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
Alright,
Absolutely.
this is
So, just as a note,
this
too,
is-
just before you dive into that one, though, we have gotten to about the hour and a half point, so yeah, I imagine you guys still have life in you, yeah?
Yeah, I'm good.
I am alive.
Okay. Good.
We good.
Okay.
Continue.
Continue.
Are you good?
Yep, we good.
All right. So this is just what the creator sphere in general. This is like personal preference, obviously. What do you guys believe was the golden age of content creation on YouTube or Twitch? Doesn't matter. Just the golden age. Like, give me like a time span, like a year.
Some would
if you can
say
remember.
Probably
before
early
when I
2010s.
even would count it, to be honest with you, though. But I would say, I guess, like the Markiplier up and coming, because then you had all the bigger like names that, and I guess the more infamous now, but like the Cryotics and the Markipliers, and when Jack was getting big and stuff, like, you know what I mean? Back at that time
2012,
period where they were, yeah,
I miss
exactly.
Cry.
2012.
I did look into it.
Cry
Markiplier
was
opened
one of
his
the
channel
biggest fucking
2012.
inspirations of my channel, actually. Yokumi, I think I've told you that, but like literally, like Cry was like the number one inspiration for like the style. Absolutely.
Such a good voice too. Yeah, it just works with you. Fuck, man.
Does Cinnamon Toast Ken still post? He does.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh, Cinnamon Toast Ken.
I
does
think
still
Scene Anners was like just starting out at that point, and then he got fucking
my
massive
God.
at some point. Fucking Scene Anners with his Minecraft shit. Good.
Or I don't
Such
know
a
if
good
it was.
time.
I don't know if it was just me, but Angry Video Game Nerd.
AVG.
Yeah,
no,
hell
that
yeah.
was not just you. AVG was solid, dude. I didn't get to watch everybody. Don't get me wrong. Like, I only saw like the Pro Jared stuff like shortly before like that debacle that happened for a while. So like that was when I was first starting to see shit because my friend Holly was like, "Yo, so you need to see his highlight playthroughs," and I was like, okay. So I watched all the highlight shit that he did, and I was like, dude, this is fucking great. This is like classic YouTuber fucking video essay shit too. On top of it, that was like way bigger once upon it. You know, when everybody did the thing that I do, where they all have intros and outros.
Will we ever have,
put credits at the end?
will we ever have an age like that ever again? Will this
Honestly,
ever be-
everything repeats eventually. I feel like
honestly-
I think there will be a certain energy to it, but
There'll be
if I
something
can-
else.
if I can be like the smart ass of the room for this one, I honestly don't see a golden age of YouTube. I think like
In general?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
there is.
interesting.
There has
No,
to
there
be.
is.
The reason I say that is because my view of YouTube is that it is defined by consistent change, being consistently reactionary to whatever came before it. As to where in 07 it reacted to TV and being frankly more vulgar and freeform, and then it started to organize itself, and I think it continues to grow more and more. I'm going to give a real answer to the question whenever the fucking Yogscast did the friggin' survival games in Minecraft.
Oh my
Man.
god,
But
Yogscast.
You were single-handedly aging everyone in this call.
Except me,
Seriously, I don't
I
quite
have
like
no
it.
idea whose Yogscast is. I
You're
don't know.
lying! You're lying!
No, I'm not.
No, you're in denial. You're in denial, Yokumi. I'm sorry.
Say that to my face.
I don't
Shadow
know.
of Israfel's never gonna finish.
I don't know what the
damn
heck a Yogscast is. Okay,
Oh
I
my
have
God.
Somebody
no
educate
clue.
him with Diggy
I'll
Diggy
fucking
Hole
eke
later.
it out.
Diggy Diggy Hole still slaps though. I'll say that. But seriously,
Wait,
I look.
what?
Yeah, go ahead.
I
Defra.
look forward. I look forward to what's to come. It's easy to be cynical, and it's easy to say like, "Yeah, dude, stuff's so fucking fast that only the bigger people are able to make shit anymore." It's so fucking
Not really.
annoying.
Gee.
But
What was
I
that?
do think that we are still getting much more passion, information
perspective,
on
that's
how
all.
to create more stuff,
Yes.
and I look forward to it. I think that a certain kind of freeform energy will always be there.
Absolutely.
Or maybe I'm
It'll
an
be,
optimist.
the thing is, I think I see where you're going from, because I have a similar energy with that shit. I don't think that we're going to see the same as it is like a perfect loop. So let me clarify that when I was saying that everything kind of comes in cycles and shit, right? It'll be the same but different. It's kind of like when you wind up having like how fucking nowadays, I talk about this with my musical buddy, which is really funny that my fucking partner in the media department also is a musician. Probably would have been the best person that I could have possibly mixed up with
Lucky.
as a guy to help me run that department. But anyway, we talk about how once upon a time when like rap was like a bigger thing in like the fucking 70s, 80s, 90s and stuff like that, right? Like it was a very different thing than what it kind of is now. And a lot of the people that are getting into rap, like the stuff that's like, or I guess that are on that end of the hemisphere with things, it's always like that rap versus rock stupid mentality with shit that people have a tendency with
Those
things.
are very
but, like,
different genres. How
They
do you
are.
compare?
Absolutely, and there's subgenres that go. It's so stupid anyway. It's such a mongoloidal argument, but that's something entirely different right now. But like, I hate genre fucking pigeonholing shit with music, dude. It's so. I don't even like describing music with genres, to be honest with you, for that reason, because it attracts that.
What's better, nightcore or daycore?
Okay, nightcore actually isn't a genre, though. All right, sorry, but nightcore actually isn't a genre. You take a song, you speed it up 125% in Audacity, you export it with fucking, what is it, Lame with Audacity, boom, nightcore remix, done.
It's not a
genre.
Though? What about
Nightcore on weed, daycore on shrooms.
Daycore is the reverse of nightcore, where they slow it down by like 50%.
Yeah, that's weird. That's very weird.
Why
but yeah, like
it's
like that kind of shit where we were talking about how like a lot. I forget what the thing is that they do. It's like a style of a kind of music. I want to say it utilizes some like older punk shit, maybe with like the drum beats and whatnot, with things that they do, and it's like a really, like. Grunge? I think it's just that rapping now is like kind of mixed with all of that kind of shit, like that grunge shit. Like it just is now. Like Machine Gun Kelly was an example that he used with something. I don't listen to him though, but like he used an example of how like there's a lot of rap now that like kind of mixes things from the other side of the hemisphere, and like and now suddenly rock is cool from people that are on the other end of the spectrum that would only listen to rap and stuff like that. And it's like, no, this has existed for fucking ever. Stop. But it's becoming repopularized with things. But it's kind of like how that works with music, where like something will come full circle, and something that was already done. But that's the problem with being like an earlier, or like, I won't say the first, because obviously there's that age-old argument of nothing is original, but like that's the problem with being somebody that's exploring something that's more niche, right, at the time when you get into it, is because while you think it's cool, while it is kind of like more or less original at the time, something that you're doing that's different from the mold or the trends or whatever that you have, by the time it picks up speed and then becomes the meta within the thing afterwards, you will never be credited with like, oh man, well this person did it first. It's the problem with coming up with something where it's more niche that way, and that happens so fucking frequently with music. And I feel like that's what that'll wind up being with like the YouTube hemisphere with shit, right? It'll probably go back around with that stuff, and it's like, oh man, this is so cool, but it'll be beyond where people were like really remember that so much. It's like, dude, this happened 10 years ago. Like, but like nobody cared at the time. Like now that it's trendy, it becomes a thing. So. That's my 2 cents. I know that went really long-winded into like music, and you got to see a lot about my personality there. But
quite all right. I think there's a lot of truth to that, though.
So that's what I'm saying when I think that it'll go full circle. But continue, Yokumi.
Right. Gotcha. I personally think, of course, just me, this side, I just think early YouTube, where it was a bunch of like flash animations, like shit posts, people just making like YouTube posts, people just posting internet shit posts just to post stuff. None of it was supposed to be monetized. None of it's supposed to blow up. It was just supposed to be the pure raw creativity and sending something to people. It was an age
1,
of
2, and 3 stick figure fighting.
I love all those animations. Go ahead.
I think people forget that the first YouTube video ever posted is a dick joke. I think people overlook that.
Really? Yep. What was that?
It is. Day at the zoo. He says how elephants have long trunks in quotation marks.
Of course.
Yep.
And funny enough, that video got demonetized too. It's like the biggest irony ever.
Oh no. See, this is the issue. Like,
that's cool.
That age is like gone. It's like. In that age of broadcast yourself disappeared. It is now sell yourself. So I'm tired of that.
Great.
That's very fair.
That's personally why I think the golden age of YouTube has disappeared, and this is just it. Everything is business. Everything's about money. Everything's about like succeeding and being popular rather than just enjoying it. So just whatever.
The same thing happened with music. The same thing, like, you know what I mean? Like, just it happened with games.
Yeah,
and we all fucking hate it in this room right now. Everybody that's watching as well. I see you too, Chad, back there. Everybody fucking hates it. It's all about the loot boxes and the NFTs now. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's whenever anything becomes popular and there's money in it.
Name one result of the Industrial Revolution.
The Queen of England.
The steam engine.
Oh. No!
God.
No.
Anyway, on to what Yokumi was saying.
Yep.
Well, we're just gonna go past. Okay.
Yes. Anyway, on to what Yokumi was saying.
The point is that
sorry
everything
about
comes
the
to an
Queen.
end. Was the point that was being made?
Yep.
Yeah. So, what the fuck was I saying? Right. when we're talking about things where you want to just create to be happy, create to release something into the wild, create because it's something that is quite in fact a labor of love, I do feel like some of us, or maybe all of us to an extent, some more than others, would believe in creating for money and then going on to use the platform we have to create for creation's sake. And I think seeing that as the end goal, I don't think that's necessarily moral or immoral or otherwise, but I do think that it goes to show that once we made it possible for someone to broadcast themselves their way into a living, it turned into, well, that is the only way you can live if you want to be broadcasted. And I think if we ever find any sort of new...
It turned into a competitive pressure, and I just don't like that.
Yeah, and that's totally respectable. And I think that's one of the reasons why it is very healthy to look into new media. Like why I think it's really cool that you're looking into VR, because you are currently experiencing maybe not the most golden of days, but a form of golden days with it, where there is a lot of genuine love that's put into it. And I think
VR is starting to kind of get like VR is still early, but I'd like to say that VR is definitely starting to do like a vertical increase. Practically right now, like it is increasing rapidly. It's a lot more accessible than it was once upon a time. I did not ever have the money for it, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna need to drop like fucking $800 for an Oculus to be able to get into VR. Fuck that, just to play some really shitty indie horror games on it. And then VR chat became a thing, and I saw VR roleplay, and it was fucking $400 for a Quest, and I was like, dude, I dropped that for a PC part. We'll be fine.
Oh
God.
Yeah.
The accessibility spike is vertical.
Yes, exactly. But no, I feel you absolutely with that one, because with all of that, that's one of the things that I think is really making VR get a push, is the accessibility is a lot lower than it was once upon a time, and because of parts and just like generally like PCs being stronger now. Emiliano, Type G, thank you for following. I appreciate that, my friend. Welcome to the Grove.
Welcome.
I will say,
but like with that, it's been easier to run VR as well.
With VR chat, I will, despite whatever is going on, I will still use VR chat because I'd rather do that than Hangout VR. But they actively advertise Metaverse on their Steam page.
Yeah, I mean, what else do you have for options anyway? It doesn't affect me, the change that happens with VR chat. That doesn't mean that I'm going to be completely indifferent to it. I get why people are pissy.
Exactly.
Bullshit. But like, it did not at all affect me.
Easy anti-cheat stuff.
Oh, okay, whatever.
Yep, but it, just to be real with you, it did not affect me, so I was like, all right, whatever. But I see why people are pissy with it. You know what I mean?
No, I completely
absolutely understandable.
But yeah, also X, anything that you wanted to tip into that one as well? You've been a little silent for a bit. Now is your chance to take the floor.
Generally from VR. Yeah, it's because I forget what derailed us here. I think I was gonna piggyback on your on the full cycle thing. Is that what we're on?
Well, it was the idea of the YouTube trend that we went from. Yeah,
we've gone full cycle back to it. So
we're back.
I can only reiterate, I guess, some of the stuff about the like. Do I think it's coming around again in some way? I think we're in the. We're coming up on the it's almost gonna be 2 decades, right? Of whatever this is that YouTube is. I mean,
2 decades, and we still haven't figured out what this is.
That's a good point.
Yeah, and I think, and every year, I mean, as long as they keep changing the algorithm, it also changes the kind of content people are then driven to have to make if they want to go through that success engine. Like they want to have to get in that race, you know. Now there's people who just want to make content and reach people, but they're getting suffocated by the people who are in that race. And so I do think that there's coming a time that the fatigue is starting to kick in. I see this in the data. I see this in the audience, not just the creators, right? The audience itself is just, it's slowing down. And I'm not just speaking for my channel. I'm speaking for the channels that I go and analyze, I deconstruct, and from big to small. Like I see something slowing down, and it's on the audience side. And now that the algorithm has shifted to the audience model dictating how content gets distributed to other people who have like interests as the people viewing the content, it's less about the control is no longer in the content creator's hands. It's in the audience that the content creator can attract. But then that audience is what gets other audiences. And so there's a lot more onus put on to the watching habits of people who I think the majority of people don't know they have that power, because it's organic. It's built into the code to do what it's going to do. But that also creates these sort of waves in what kind of content the platform shifts to. If they keep pushing shorts, everyone hates it for 2 years. They've been complaining, but God damn it, they're going to keep pushing shorts. And now we got shorts integrated into long form content as a reach and and discovery. Like the analytics are now shared between both of those again. And so they did it. They fucked everything up. They removed it, and now they're putting it back in because they fixed it. But all the people who created short content for the last year and a half, they've just maximized the opportunity for themselves, and it's accidental because had they listened to what the audience actually wanted, which was that they didn't want it, they would have stopped. But then they would have lost this opportunity to be able to kind of just to reap the rewards of that endurance. And the people who really loved doing short content, they still kept doing it. And it's going to go back to that. If you love it, you wanted an alternative to TikTok, you came to YouTube for that for whatever reason, and you kept doing your shorts here. And even though everyone was like, don't do it, this is shit, I don't want it anymore, and you kept doing it, it's because you loved it. And now you're going to reap the rewards from that. And then over the next year, that's going to change the content on this platform again. It really just, puts us all in this predicament of like, do you bend and go for that race as well? Do you enter that race as well? And what are you losing when you do that? Like, what part of you are you selling away when you do that? And it doesn't even have to be for money, right? But your time is a currency. It is a currency. It's finite. Yes. And so, you know what I mean? Like,
it's a currency you only spend once, as the man who wore the shirt at San Japan 2022 said.
That's awesome.
Yeah, me and Fox me and Fox, when we saw like the buy 4 get 1 free deal at Hot Topic.
Yeah.
Or Spencer's.
Yep. Oh man, yeah, no, absolutely. I feel that one for sure. Oh man, it's a good.
Yeah, so I just hope that what's going to happen is that fatigue is going to then 2 years from now, 3 years from now, even, right? Is that there's going to come back around to people just going, "Hey man, remember when things were casual? When people just
I fucking hope. I really
go
hope.
into channel to
I've
chat."
I've already seen some people mentioning how videos seem over-edited nowadays.
Oh yeah, I agree. I
just to blast you with stimulation per second.
Absolutely a thing now. Yeah, I've been one of the hardcore people that has always avoided that kind of shit. I got a fucking stimulus overload from that shit that happens.
Okay, guys, we're at Chili's at 3 in the morning.
Many people that'll like send it to me, and they're like, "Oh man, this is so cool." I was like, "Is it to you?" Because like this gives me. Actually, like, I feel like I might be having a seizure.
No, yeah, seriously.
Like, the Maxor stuff I definitely feel like is seizure-worthy, but I do think, like, there's other stuff that's going on where it's still, like, trying to reach a high level of production value where it's just not necessary. Yeah. I think there is a level of that's going to stay, but I think it's going to move in a different direction.
Yeah.
Same.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I love Maxor, though.
Yep. Also, shorter videos are still a thing that people do eat up. Some people. There's a little bit of a dissection with that. And I can tell you from what I've witnessed on my channel, at least, again, this could just be like confirmation bias with that shit, though. But again, remember, I have 5 to 8 minute shorts talking about units in a particular class in a fucking gacha game. And that's one of my most eaten up series that I have. They're like 5 minutes long, dude. And it's just me flipping a PNG on screen and going... Yeah, you're the definition of plot armor. Move on.
But the one genre that I got blasted because of all the YouTube shit that happened is animation. Animation got shafted.
Oh, absolutely. Got shafted hard.
There's the golden age. Goodbye.
Yep, that is gone. Nobody wants to be because it's too risky anyway, on top of it, especially where it's so easy to get like deplatformed for shit if people want to be a dick. Like, I feel bad for artists, man. And don't get me wrong, there are some shitty artists out there, but like the vast majority of people that I've seen that just want to make shit and whatnot, it's like, dude, they're just chill people that just enjoy doing things. Like, you know what I mean?
If you look now, though, people who like made that are like they're doing other stuff like Smiling Friends. Hell yeah, Odd Ones Out just got a TV show for Netflix.
Yeah, Oddballs.
Whoa, awesome.
Which I don't really care for Odd Ones Out in the first place, but good for them though.
Good for them, yeah.
On Netflix, no less. Yeah.
But Netflix will take anything.
That's like the gold, dude. That's like the gold standard. If you can get a show on Netflix, it's like boom, you're in, dude.
Mm-hmm.
People, they're doing sports. People are doing TV. Completionist does G4 now.
That is true. Yeah, Completionist kind of deserved to be on something like that. He basically had that for editing content anyway. Like
Scott the Woz was on cable.
Yeah. Scott the Woz, because of G4, Scott the Woz was on TV.
Mm-hmm. What?
Scott the Woz was on broadcast TV.
Yeah,
like they took his actual videos.
Yeah, because of G4. G4 came back, and the Completionist is hosting it, and Scott the Woz was a program on G4.
Okay, fucking cool.
This is the reasoning too why like a lot of Devin Nash videos talk about that shit when you're getting into content creation too. If you want to take it seriously, use it as an extension to a brand of something else that you want to do. Less of a primary thing and more of a hey, you enjoy this thing. Use this to echo chamber that shit. That's why I'm trying to get big into like the music shit, right? My goal, if I really wanted to get into something, like my plan and goal that would be really sick. Okay, is if I could do a coding job for like my 9 to 5. Right, and could get home and like at the end of a shift or something like that, I just wind down, I kick on the fucking VTube studio, and just have a VTuber that's making music. That would be the ultimate goal for me, honestly, dude. That'd be so sick. Like, imagine if you will, if I had like an avatar where I had like a switch where I could flip between this model and the other model, and I also had like another toggle for the 2D where they just pulled out a violin. Like, imagine that shit. That'd be so fucking cool. It'd be so original, too. I'd love that.
That all sounds very, like, doable right now.
Yeah, exactly. I think that'd be the thing. The only reason why I'm not going to go for something like that is because it'd be so... Yeah, absolutely. The only reason why I wouldn't do it is because there's a lot of investment, a lot of money, and all that other shit, especially considering how big it is right now, and the returns are very uncertain.
Because I could be like... My name is Sammy, the cheese sandwich VTuber. Oh boy, and I would get like 1 billion views.
Right. No, there are people that do shit like that. I mean, somebody in I's channel literally is a hedgehog. That's his VTubing thing. And he goes on these tears sometimes. Like a lot of VTubers love to be like, oh, well, you're not a VTuber. It's like, no, that's what a VTuber is. It's a PNG file. He's a PNG tuber. That's what he is. He's just as much a VTuber as anybody else is. Like, stop with that shit. Like, he's an original dude that does a bunch of random shit on podcast. He does the thing that I do too, where like scuff is part of like the bit. Yeah. So like his whole entire thing that he has is like an MS Paint looking desk where the fucking the hedgehog that is him, the host, is on top of with like a crudely drawn like whatever pot. I'm like, dude, that's so great. Sweet. Like, you know what I mean? Like he's just a generally fucking really fun dude to talk to. He's just a good dude. It was like, dude, that's so original. It's like, it's a shame that like people like that too. It's like there's not a very high likelihood that he's going to like spike, but I hope he picks up people for sure because like that's such a funny idea.
So many people that deserve it.
Like,
yeah. I think there's something that's kind of related to this that I think may only be specific to myself and Yokumi and maybe Shay. Okay. You were talking about how having something that works into building up your content or something that feels like it's related to what you're doing. I've
fuck those worms. I agree.
But I haven't gone full explaining. One of my current goals right now, more so than just creating more for YouTube, creating Lobotomized, is to have this editing freelancing job get off the ground and actually work with both skin tubers and VTubers to make videos that they like. And I think there is something that's not often said about going that route. I know that Yokumi, you and I have discussed some interest that you've had as well.
In fact, this podcast is actually making me want to push towards doing that.
Good, really? Good. That's what this whole fucking podcast is designed for. You do that, dude. I enable it.
Congratulations! You're on the trap!
Congratulations!
Merry fucking September!
I will.
Do it. God damn.
I'll explain afterwards, but Frey, please go ahead.
Yes, of course. I don't know. I think it's just interesting to say, hey, I want to build this skill because I think I have something that I can offer. Again, I said that I had more of the social, like, breaking down stuff, or, like, fucking psychological lie, or Joker bullshit, I don't know.
Yeah.
But when translating that over to editing, that does lead to a certain skill where you can see other people getting value out of it. And the way I see it, if I'm able to do something that people in this field need, edit, that they will pay for, yes, and that I'm pretty sure more creators are going into like hiring their own editors.
Yep.
Then that's going to not just, work to make a living. That's going to work for knowing different kinds of content, learning more of them, and knowing how to make my own more efficient. And just by doing that, I don't know, I think having that kind of job is something that doesn't get talked about often enough.
It's an IT mindset that I was told about in college from my professor. Actually, I had a very knowledgeable man that told me. And a lot of people don't think of it this way, but your goal that you'll want to do, because IT is such an adaptable field, is it makes more sense in today's job paradigm to build up your skill set and be a little bit of everything and learn things along the way, because at any moment you might be out of a job, or at any moment something else might show up, another thing, like, there's an opportunity there, and that's what a smart person would do, is to do that. So I'm fully on board with that. Go ahead and continue, though.
I didn't have too much else. I guess all I'm saying is, like, it's still, like, untapped ground from what I've seen, and it's something I'm still exploring, and I can't even imagine, I'm nowhere near an expert on the topic, but I'll put it to you like this. The last company I worked for in tech support was also big on being a sales company. In fact, it was, like, consider it kind of like eBay. I fucking hated sales.
Yeah, it's always a fucking painful thing.
It is, but it's also getting me to look at it in a different light, not just see it as manipulation, but ethical manipulation of ideas by just giving people a nice little show, and makes me want to get out there and have an adventure and, I don't know, give something cool to people. Watching Better Call Saul also helps.
Wait,
there's a phrase that comes to mind. Go ahead, Ed.
Shay, was that you? Did you make that noise?
What?
Man, I thought I heard a noise. I heard a Zen noise for a second.
Zen noise? Zen noise
Yeah,
is
Zen's
intensified.
Never mind.
Never mind, keep going. My bad.
Did she sand it?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
We have a buddy named
like
Zen.
an hourglass? Like
No,
we had a buddy named Zen.
No.
Oh, Zen. Okay.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Are you saying Zen or sand? I'm not sure.
Sand
That's what I was trying to
noises!
wonder.
Yes,
Zen.
Gara is approaching.
Okay.
You'll appreciate that one, Jay. But
Jesus.
anyway, yeah, he's actually not a super big weeb and has recently fallen onto that rabbit hole, which is fantastic, and I'm very excited about it, to be honest with you. I don't know how much that you have watched with it, but I know you must still be watching Naruto, right?
I am still watching, yes. So
Yes,
I'm a little
good.
Bit, a little behind. A little
Good.
behind. I'm
Hey, it's all
deconstructing Naruto right
good.
now.
It is a long form
Some good
series,
shit.
and there is still Boruto, my friends.
Oh, man.
Oh boy.
But yeah, no. But in all seriousness, yeah. You were talking about that. Where was I going to springboard off of? Oh yeah, there's
I
a
don't know, someone was
statement
doing
that a
something.
buddy of mine said. Well, not a buddy, but a content creator that I used to watch a while ago. Are you guys familiar with Danger Dolan by chance? Because I brought him up before.
Yes.
Do you know
I've
the
heard
voice
name.
actor Hellbent from Danger Dolan? I used to watch his streams a lot once upon a time. He had a phrase that he would say, big old Texan man, very nice dude though, to be honest. Very down-to-earth dude, but very straightforward. I always appreciated that. But he had a statement where he would always point out, okay, and this goes along with your little statement there, Frey, is I see no problem in life where if there's a skill that you have, trying to find a way to be able to profit off of it. I see no ethical issue with that.
Absolutely.
Within reason. If you have a skill,
Within
trying to
reason.
turn it into something to profit off of. Like, because why not? It is something that you are still doing that would be a service in some way, shape, or form. Absolutely. Just, have... I guess a standard or an ethic or something to be expected about it. Be professional is all I'm saying. Like, you know what I mean? So that people
Yeah.
know what they can expect and you can turn it into something that you can sell.
I just want to monetize confusing people.
And I think that there, weirdly enough, is a market for that. I mean, people literally pay companies to send, like, fucking dick-shaped lollipops to people's doors. I mean, come on. That's quite literally a thing. So, I mean...
I'll make a soup out of them. Got it.
Fantastic. So
Yo,
I'm going to
did
go
you-
ahead and bring a
sorry.
talking conversation, but go ahead.
Oh, I just wanted to give Yokumi the floor because I wasn't sure if they had an opportunity.
Oh, yeah,
I don't.
absolutely.
I don't think I do. I'm not even sure where we're at anymore.
Yeah, pretty
Gotcha.
much. Yeah, that's the thing, because we're kind of going all over the place right now, though. But just to draw in the reins there really quickly. So I talked a little bit about mine with like cryotic and all that shit, though, and just to extend more to things more recently as well, I got really big into the video essay shit, specifically with Rags, who led me to Mauler. So those are like big inspirations for my channel. What are you guys' inspirations for your channel? And Ed, if you have an inspiration for somebody that you really watch or whatever the case is, or what inspires you to do content, you can pitch in with that as well. So
Yeah,
like,
let's see it.
what inspires you? We'll start with that one. I'm curious. What is an inspiration for you? Because that's a big deal.
What inspires me?
For like, it can even just be a concept that gives you inspiration or motivation to do shit in general. Like, what makes you want to like kind of come up with story writing or essay or get into content creation in general? What motivates you to do that? Is it a person, a concept? What is it?
Well, I always tell Yokumi's an inspiration. First off, that's like
God.
always my
Okay.
my first thing I go to.
Yeah.
But it's also more for self improvement as well. It's the more I work, the more I push myself away from somebody I don't like, which is also myself, or who I used to be more particularly, and it kind of helps me push myself away from that as I'm working on this. It shows the passage of time.
It's good growth.
Yeah.
The Ed character development arc.
Oh my god, yeah. Oh, absolutely. A year ago, me from a year ago and me now are like two very different people.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. No, that's a good thing though when you can see that kind of shit. Like I said, I literally look back to things I said like a few months ago and I'm just like, oh, cringe. So it happens. It's what happens when you're way too self-conscious about it. Well, not self-conscious, but self-critical.
I'm a simple man, right? My friends are inspirations, and I want to improve myself. That's all there is to it. That's that, and this is this.
Yeah, surround yourself with the people you want to be. Like, it's good.
Yeah.
Good choice.
It is
Surround
good
yourself
energy.
with smarter people.
That's absolutely, oh my fucking god, thank you, Frey. That's a line that one of my bigger inspirations as well to Veritas, a streamer on YouTube, somebody that I bumped into in the Escape from Tarkov hemisphere of streamers as well. It was a dude that was literally doing what I would kill to do. He was coding full-time for his 9 to 5, streaming full-time on Twitch, and also still was able to make music. How did he do this, and how did he have the time to do that? It was simple.
What a powerhouse.
Right? Loading times were awful while he was playing that game. So in between it, he had his dog on his other monitor and would play his guitar in between shit, dude.
There
I was like,
you
dude,
go.
that's so good. He would
that's
turn
so funny.
one thing into something else that he was doing. And because he was coding from home, especially over like the pandemic and whatnot, it's like that was how he did it. He combined all three in the same thing. Like that can be detrimental depending on how bad that you are at multitasking. But he would use one to fuel the next thing. Kind of like the Persona thing, right? Where it's like you do the slice of life shit that moves into the dungeon shit, and then you move into the you know what I mean? Like you just move from one thing to the next to kind of fuel the next in cycle. And that was how he did it. And it was like, dude, you're literally doing what I would kill to do for a living. Like that is all of the trifecta of things that I could do. Like that's fucking awesome. But yeah, no, that was the thing that he said with what you mentioned there. And I'm sorry, what did you mention? Because I fucking
what is
flopped out. You said something, Frey, that reminded me of him.
Oh, right.
Surround yourself with smarter people.
Yeah,
he said,
smarter than you.
try to be the dumbest guy in the room.
Yes!
Because you can only learn. And like it sounds really stupid, but it's so boring being the smartest guy in the room. And as arrogant as it sounds, I'm too used to that around here because there's not many like really thinker. Like I'm in like a really blue collar state with that kind of shit. So I'm used to being surrounded by a lot of people where they're like, man, wow, you're really smart. Why are you around here? Like that kind of shit, I get a lot, especially from my job, because I'm like this programmer kid in college that does all this other shit and just says shit where everybody's like, what the fuck? Like, I'm that guy, but I'm also like nice, so they don't really fucking like care that much. I'm not a dick about it. But no, like just surround yourself with smarter people. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
No one's gonna fuck with you, dude.
Fair. If I were short, it'd be a very different story. My God, I'm so glad that I don't have short jeans. I'm sorry for the short people. I know you get shit on all the time. Yeah. My heart goes out to you.
You can enjoy being the little spoon. Have fun with that.
You can ride my shoulders, Yokumi, when we go to Anime Expo.
Let's go.
We're not trying to sell you short. We're not trying to sell you short here. But
get out of here. Leave my chat.
Yeah, I'm leaving the door.
But yeah, no, that's definitely a big one right there. Where was this originally? Oh yeah, inspiration. But yeah, anything else you want to add on to that one, Ed?
I have said all there is to say for me.
Fantastic. Frey, I know the answer to this question, and pretty much everybody here does, other than probably
everyone.
Shit, what are your,
right from the beginning?
Everyone say it together.
Yeah, everybody 1, 2, 3.
Woodrow Wilson.
Woodrow Wilson. Yes.
All right, explain.
Ted Bundy.
Yes, Ted Bundy has escaped.
No. Look, Ted Bundy had hustle, did not use it correctly. Anyway. No. The point is...
Troy Bolton from High School Musical?
I think Woodrow Wilson lived in very difficult times, specifically World War I, and having to contend with a world that, for once, had to deal with a very complex socio-political climate with the formation of Germany, going from 40 countries to attempting to be one state after Franz Ferdinand. Okay, fuck it, it's Alpha Red. You guys know that. Anyway. Yeah, no, I know you guys are all gonna have at that. There's no question. No, I really respect how very honest Alpha Red, the creator, is about what they want to do, their progression, and how they're able to separate themselves from their online persona and just be aware of the kayfabe they're in. And not only... let me put it to you this way. I think Alpha Rad is the Hunter Hunter of creators.
That's a good way to explain it.
Like
Also, Ghosock is totally like thumbs upping you right now. Loves Alpha Rad.
I prefer Beta Rad, though.
That's fair. I also like Jello Apocalypse, who honestly just has such a high standard and animation stuff that I can't respect it. And then the last one is Brian David Gilbert, because he got me to sing a song about roasted garlic summer sausage, with those being the only lyrics, and no other man is both as confusing, disturbing, and delightful as he is. And I would love to find out what caused his son to mourn his death.
Yeah?
In his ARG.
That's such a weird...
It's fitting for Frey, don't worry about it.
It's very fitting for Frey, absolutely.
If the genes fit, and I'm short, then we're moving on to the next person!
Hey, Yokumi!
Alright. Yeah, egg yolk.
Well, I've got a couple, because, again, going back from, 7-year-old Yokumi, different kind of story, but I've always wanted to be animator, artist. Ever since I watched Studio Ghibli, I've always had that child wonder, and always thought, man, I really want to make people feel this way, like I have. So I've always wanted to animate, draw, tell stories to people, make them have some awe. But time.
That's a beautiful thing. Yes,
absolutely. Unfortunately, I am didn't happen because my parents never would let me study that kind of stuff. It was always I have Asian parents. They always would make me do all my school stuff first. No interacting with many people. I was a very sheltered and basically socially stunted person growing up.
Yeah, and they wanted you to make sure that you were more financially secure and that kind of shit. I imagine,
Absolutely. And I became an electrical engineer, and I make okay money. But I don't care. I would rather. Maybe I shouldn't talk about that. I would really rather not do engineering for the rest of my life. I really want to make people the way I feel. I want people to sort of return to zero and embrace what they really like, and just have that be their ultimate goal and focus. I want that for myself. I want it for everyone else.
I love that. I love that so much, because you're reminding me of fucking thoughts and things I was going through. That's why I love RPGs so much, man. It's because the world building, the shit that you have in there, the scope of things in your mind. It's one of the bigger driving forces I had with making the just that demo for that RPG that I want to do, is because I was like, dude, it's really fun. The concept, what got me into it too as well, which is really funny, is you're gonna die of laughter for the anime people in here. Fairy Tail.
Oh, damn!
Fairy Tail and Sword Art Online were the big things where I was like, yo, dude, RPG shit gets made fun of in the meta in anime. That's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
So I wanted to do that shit. I was like, dude, I want to do something that's also it can be taken equal parts serious. You got the good little feel good vibes that make you feel the sads, the happiness, the characters feel alive and whatnot. But it also is making fun of RPG concepts that we all are well aware of. You know what I mean? So the people that enjoy RPG games and whatnot are just okay, yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And all that. I love the idea of fourth wall breaking just in general, for obvious reasons, and making it on brand for the character and whatnot. But
Meta's great.
That was what brought me into doing shit for making an art. And it was going to be a comic at first, but that took a lot of work. So I made a game, which is obviously much less work.
Easily.
Clearly.
By the way, Yokumi,
Oh, what's
I
up?
just want to throw out there, Yokumi, that entire explanation you had, that is the reason I am proud to know you and work with you, just because throughout all of this, I think it's easy to get cynical and analytical, but you still maintain at the forefront the idea of making other people happy in the simplest elements. So I'm fucking proud of that, dog.
Yeah,
That
we
is
had a
because I'm
conversation about a
delusional
similar
as fuck,
thing.
and I'm happy.
There's a good thing. There's a good thing to have that though. Is the thing is, I'm a very realistic. I'm so used to getting that kind of shit though from people when they'll be like, "Oh, you're kind of pessimistic or whatever," because like I'm realistic about shit. But it's like, no, there's a difference between being a realistic. As stupid as this sounds, I am a realistic idealist. I have two different parts of my mentality with it. The artistic part of me always wants to be like, man, you know what? I believe in the good of people and all this other shit. But realistically, that person is probably gonna stab me in the back with this stupid shit because I've seen this before. Like, you know what I mean? But it's like, but the idealist is like, you know, I would like to think
with you there.
Like,
I felt like I was with you until it went like
Sharp-edged
really
knife
pessimistic. I was like, no, I can get pragmatic with you. I'm there with you in that term.
But no, like that's a way
yeah.
extreme version of it though that I'm trying to like might not be the best way to explain it though. But you know what I'm trying to say by that though, X-Ray. Like,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean to fucking, again, throw you under the bus with this one, though, but, like, yeah, it's no secret. You got a couple of years on me, so you've seen that shit with just how people's mannerisms and shit. It's a fun thing to me, anyway, in general, to kind of just, like, I don't know, I guess read people. Not psychoanalyze, that was, like, old fucking high school me once upon a time. I don't give a shit about that, but, like, I like kind of just observing people and just seeing what they'll do now.
Oh god,
I don't know. It's a weird thing that I just really fucking enjoy for some reason, and just like watching shit. Like that's why I really enjoyed. Like one of my favorite things about In Japan, it was in that video that I did for it as well too. Like I enjoyed the parts where I was able to get a coffee, sit off to the side, and sit in my own little corner of the world in the lobby, and just watch the cosplayers go by and just hear their conversations as they're walking by. I like that. That's not boring to me. Because like, and I know that it meant from like it was from a good place, Ed, and I'm not trying to like be an asshole at all in any way, shape, or form. That's why when you were like, oh, "What panels are you looking forward to?" It's like I'm fine with this. I am perfectly happy just waltzing around, getting lost in the crowd.
It's just reveling in the purpose of the entire thing. It is pure raw fun. Like, there's nothing else to do. That's great.
Absolutely.
The wave of people,
that's something that
the
I personally just really enjoy. And people just let you go about that. And then you get into the idle conversations every now and again when you want to say things. And then there's that conversation that you did have at the con with that person where it wasn't just fucking small talk that you would have with like your coworker talking about, I don't fucking know, it's raining outside or some shit. Like they actually contributed something random to like a TV show or something like that you actually know. Like, you know what I mean? There's something about that atmosphere that I do not ever see in general. So like when that was my everyday with any interaction I had with somebody in San Japan, I was like, dude, that's fucking lovely. Like,
hell yeah,
like,
dog.
Yeah, you know what I mean with that. But like, I feel you 100% with that, Frey. Like, I just not being completely cynical with shit, but like still being like, you know what? It'd be fucking great to do this thing, and then just latching on to that, no matter how simple-minded that might seem to some people. Like, I think that's a thing that is especially more of like an artistic, like artsy-fartsy thing too. People love to do that shit.
We are smart now to afford to be stupid later. Sorry, you had something. Yeah. Please.
No, it's good. I'm done.
Oh, okay.
Would you like to add to that at all, Shay, though?
Oh, yes, please.
I mean, I'm going to try to segue it first in terms of, you know, you all went to that convention. I recall the ones I used to go to.
I did not either.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. So did you? You've been to cons, though, right? You've been to.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so I mean, the last ones I used to go to were the Gen Cons, so the gaming conventions in Indianapolis, and I used to meet a bunch of web friends. Like we'd all come from, I'm from Canada, so I bring some people down from Canada, and then we'd all kind of come from the coast, and we'd all, you know, get into the middle state there, and it was a cool place for us to just meet once a year, and then like Fox said, there's just times, right? You're there for 4 or 5 days. You just kind of, man, no, I'm just gonna chill. I just enjoy the environment of having this much around, and you're in your world. Like there's an inspiration that comes off of just like meandering between Artist Alley, which is where I would hang out and see the art.
And you can take it at your pace that's comfortable for you too, without being overloaded by it.
Yeah, and seeing like the people behind the art that inspired you to want to do the stuff you've wanted to do. Like I wanted to be an illustrator at first, but then the illustration went into I went to programming after just because I needed money and everything wasn't working out.
Big move. for everyone.
Very.
So then from there, it's I still want to hang on to that whole RPG kind of history. Like in the 90s, I really I got into gaming a lot because of the idea of world building and just existent like escapism, and I wanted to explore what that was all about. How do you get people to build these stories together and engage and interact? And I really love that. So I would say, like, from an inspiration perspective, like, I think Paizo publishing for me would have been, it's probably a key one. I think what came out of Wizards of the Coast back in the late 90s, and when they changed over to, they kind of went their own direction, and then Paizo Publishing kind of went and did Pathfinder. That was a huge era of gaming, the D20 stuff, like just a bunch of these small companies popping up everywhere and being able to create worlds on top of this game, on this rule system that was made open source. Like, that was a massive injection into the market for the early 2000s. Coming out of that, I never let go of just kind of wanted to create worlds and create. Now, I would say my biggest influences though come from comics. I would say the earliest one as a kid would have been Eastman and Laird, so the creators of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That was a massive story that would inspire anybody who wanted to get into indie comics or indie writing or just like company creation. It was kind of it was an inspiring story to hear these two guys creating this comic in the basement, like using, I think it was like their uncle's money. I forget the exact story, but like they just cobbled enough money together to print X amount of books. I'm gonna say 3,000. I don't know if it's if it was that low, but I do think it was something like that for issue number 1 of Turtles. But then through some arrangement, they met this one guy, and in that arrangement, they created the franchise that we got. It was like the movies started popping off, the cartoons started popping off. 15, 20 years later, there's the sellout to Nickelodeon. Like, there's a crazy history that sort of goes lopsided near the end of the last decade and a half or something like that. But the origin of that story, like, the idea that you can be anybody, that if you have an idea, like, you just start it. Like, you think they thought that was going to go anywhere back, like, in the late 80s. They thought that they were going to turn this Ninja Turtle thing that was, some parody of was it Ronin? Some other comic, like hold on, is Frank Miller's Ronin? God, I'm forgetting all these things. But anyways, that leads me into I would say the second influence from comics is Todd McFarlane. So Spawn.
Spawn. My dad was so big into Spawn. It must be with. Honestly, I feel like a lot of the comic book people that are a little older than me tend to be big into Spawn. It must have been because it was more popular at that point.
Your dad would have been in that area if he was a comic fan. It was the nature of the early 90s where everything started breaking apart. I mean, not unfamiliar to kind of what might be happening today, but the difference with today is that they don't really have that same structure where, like, they were making superstar artists back in those early 90s phases, and a group of them joined together and they just said, fuck this, and they went and started something, right? And they started Image Comics, huge publisher today, right, of indie comics, and they're really just the publishers. Like, if you have something to publish, you try to publish through Image Comics. And then with that, third inspiration, Robert Kirkman, Walking Dead, early 2000s, big story there from an indie perspective. This guy comes in and he uses, I forget the number there, but it was like 30 credit cards or something like that to just keep going, like keep pushing it. Like, was that extreme? Absolutely. But this was someone who wanted to see he wanted to make comics, and he managed to get Walking Dead into Image Comics by saying that it was zombies meets aliens. He lied the whole entire time. You got the pitch approved.
Lamau.
And then the thing became a massive franchise hit, and he was made the 7th Image partner, which was, like, again, this was unheard of. Like, this was established for over a decade, but he had such business savvy in his early 20s that he was able to pull this off, and now he's the big, I mean, honestly, a tycoon that he is today, So it's, from an inspiration perspective, it's just, I love the stories, like that underdog story. You never give up, or you just believe in something.
You must have been a big fan of Sylvester Stallone as well.
Oh man, Sylvester, from a movie perspective, I mean, innovator of the action movie, it carries through, and I mean, he's still holding it together. He's still,
Isn't that literally his origin story with the whole Rocky thing, where, like, he didn't sell the rights, he insisted on actually, like, doing the thing himself? Like, I remember hearing about it and never really, like, looked too much into it, but isn't that literally his story, though? It's like
Yeah,
he
something like
refused
that.
to sell like the scripts off to somebody else because they didn't want to make it. He wanted to direct it, and he insisted on it, and he went like really broke on that for a while. He's like, no, I want to be the one that directs this because this is my original idea for it. Like, not like arrogant, but like more of a, like he just knew how that shit goes whenever that you give like the rights to somebody else with shit. He's like, no, just that's how it's gonna go or nothing.
Different era,
And then
man.
He was
that led
committed.
to where he is now.
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
very
Wanted to
stiff
own
on
it.
that, and somebody gave him a shot, and well, there he is
Got
now.
it. Mhm.
So there's a thing to be said about that kind of shit with people. I don't vibe with that mentality, but there are instances where that absolutely works, where everybody puts, where people
What
put
part that you
110% into it
Yeah.
and everything that they have into that thing, even though it's like a failing thing.
For
So
better or worse.
so you're saying you basically have like an eject mode? Is that what
Yeah.
you're saying? Like you don't buy into like that? Yeah, keep going until.
Yeah,
could
it's
literally
not
go
usually
broke.
how I listen. If we're gonna go by the way that the joke is with things all the time, okay, I'm a Taurus. I need shit to be stable. So
Fair.
yeah,
Very fair.
when things are risky, it scares me. Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
But
man,
yeah.
I'm risk all the way, man.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a Libra thing, but that's for me. It's like, nah, that's
Possibly.
I've
feel
taken
like
chances
it's more,
in life
Libra
that
is a
people
water sign, is it not? Though, so I feel like Libras are almost because if it's like the whole water sign going off of how that is with zodiac shit, it would kind of put you in the same place and boat as Aquarians, which are like those are what people say are like the stars, like the people that do like the crazy shit. Okay, that aren't even
Hey,
living in the
that's a good sign.
the physical
Wait, who-
world.
wait,
Like,
who-
hey,
who are the star people? What did you say they were called?
what?
star
Did you see-
people.
Aquarius?
Laughing
Oh,
at
I
the
thought-
honeymoon people
Water
who suck their
signs.
thumb?
Oh, I thought you said I thought you said an Aquarian. I was like darkest stuff.
Aquarian, yeah, no, Aquarian, Aquarius.
I'm a Texan, and that just means I need water.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Listen, water's good for you, though.
Who do I look like? Do I look like a healing crystal white woman to you? I don't know about like the zodiacs.
Listen. I walk around with a literal tiger's eye on my neck every day. Okay, so
That's
fuck
cool.
off. Nah, I don't actually like fully like sell into believing that shit. How I look at it is worst case scenario. Hey, there's something to it, and that's cool. What do I lose from wearing it? Nothing, because I think stones are cool.
It looks pretty as fuck.
It's like,
Exactly, it looks pretty.
I ran over 3 kids. By
Libra is
BMW.
air.
Wow.
You're right. Libra is air.
Ah,
Libra
I'll
is an air
believe in
sign.
it if it means I get an interesting conversation.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll believe in whatever you want to have an interesting conversation. I'll believe-
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel
I
like
think,
Frey
yes.
definitely is the person who, like, if you were working at my store and you were on the CDC doc that takes donations from people, you're definitely the guy that starts the conversations with the crazy people that talk about, like,
Yeah,
weird shit and whatnot and
Yes.
gives into it. And you're
You might
definitely
join
that
them.
guy.
Oh yeah, dude, you get a lot of experience talking to people with dementia to get good at that. So you,
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're
Yes,
the one who
and-
told me
Yeah.
about the dementia villages or whatever that they're called. That was really cool.
yeah,
The
the dementia
Uh-huh.
neighborhoods. Yeah.
What?
Um,
What
yes.
does that mean?
Okay.
This is cool.
Like
This
they
is- okay.
play in the 90s, like their entire situation.
No,
no, this is cool though. But yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is actually a good thing, despite how scary the name is. Oh,
Right.
definite tangent. So instead of like a nursing home or an assisted living facility, there are, in Denmark, I believe, there are entire neighborhoods rented out where the only people that live there are either, I almost said inmates, that's not the word, are either patient or residents.
I'm glad you enjoy
people
his
who are
PNG
licensed
file,
to
Punster.
take
That has
care
been like
of
the on-brand
residents.
thing for him for so
And
long.
rather than it being just one single facility, it's an entire little neighborhood, like with its own restaurant, with its own coffee shop, I would assume with its own gym, and instead of living in these like little rooms where it's like 2 to a room and people are in a bed, people get to choose. Well, okay, they have a house, they have roommates, they get to live, they get to stand.
You were cutting out a lot. I'm sorry.
Oh,
We'll give him a
Rest in
second.
peace, internet.
Yeah, we'll
very
figure it out in a
Texan-y.
minute when that pops in. Also, Yokumi, how are you doing with energy at the moment?
I'm
Perfectly
dude, I'll be-
fine.
I'm
Yeah.
fine. I'm just hungry.
Mhm.
Like
That's fair.
I just,
Oh.
Mhm.
I'm fine. Like
Because the thing is,
like,
we go as long as we go is the thing until you guys feel like it's getting stale or whatever the case is for it. Though, as far as topics are, I really only have one thing to end it off on, which will be really
hang
neat
on.
that y'all will
Frey's good to
enjoy.
join in.
But
You know, I got.
Yep. But that's really like the only thing that I have on schedule for it. I just wanted to touch base.
I
while
mean,
we have a
I'm
minute. But,
I'm
yeah,
fine.
we go until we until it's done. That's how I was
Sounds good
just
to
looking
me.
at it with this podcast anyway. But go ahead, Frey. You were saying about like people with whole jobs and this and whatever.
Yeah, you were talking about dementia. The
Probably
dementia
good for another
tab.
hour, FYI.
Okay, it's like
Are you actually back?
Might be a minute.
I hope he is.
Yeah, we'll see.
As soon as you mentioned being hungry, I got hungry, so I just grabbed something.
because I have
That's fair.
I have like food upstairs I want to heat up. Like I have broccoli cheddar soup, and it is my favorite.
Oh,
soup.
that's amazing.
It's the best soup. No, clam chowder actually.
I respect that.
New England clam chowder though, not the other.
There you go.
Not red clam chowder. That's gross.
All right, cool. That works, Frey. That works.
What's going on?
Is Frey just typing
Frey
for
said
now?
good for about another half an hour.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
But either way, yeah, we'll just wait until Frey pops back with all that stuff. But yeah, no, I'll probably grab something to snack on after this for sure.
No, white clam chowder is good. Red clam chowder is no.
I like both. I'll be real with you. I'm a man. This is why
Put
I
that in a
love talking
sourdough
about
bowl.
this shit too every now and again. Listen, I like my seafood, okay? I'm a Portuguese man.
Nice.
I was born between literally two fucking coastlines, okay? So
Okay, and
it's just you like seafood when you're born along the coastline, man. That's how that works. All right, Frey's gonna restart real quick.
seafood
Okay.
disco. I pulled a muscle.
Reminds me of that age-old joke. That's really awful. Seafood, and then they just stick their tongue
And
out.
it's-
Blah.
Delicious.
That was even in
Funny,
like Dexter's
haha,
lab, I think, once upon a time. God, anybody remember like what was your favorite '90s cartoon?
Oh,
I would say from
I
that
have
era
I,
of
I
Dexter's
even
lab.
have it. I even have an answer for this.
Batman animated series for me, probably hands down.
Which
and then
one,
Darkwing
though?
Duck.
Batman
That was the
There's the
Beyond?
good one. The
No,
only
I
good
mean
one.
the original one for sure. Batman Beyond would have been in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
and honestly,
Batman
and, like,
Beyond.
Darkwing Duck was
Fuck.
pretty much
Oof,
up there.
yes.
Honestly, yeah.
Courage the Cowardly Dog absolutely does count. Courage was a good one. Courage was
I
one of the
have
good
a-
ones.
Was that in the 90s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
That
one.
was
I don't
around.
know
I'd
if
say
that
it was the
probably
same
around that time.
cartoon setup. It was with all of that same shit. Fucking,
fair.
what about My Life as a Teenage Robot? It's one of the main reasons
Yo.
why I
I don't
know
remember
that
some
one at all
Japanese
either.
phrases, dude.
Very good.
So instead of telling you my favorite, I'm gonna make you guys feel old by telling you the things that are older than me.
Oh, God.
Newgrounds.
I'm willing to compromise.
Newgrounds is older than you, and
younger
you're
than
right, and I
what?
love it.
Newgrounds what came out in Newgrounds opened in
That
'99.
was big. Yeah.
Oh
It's-
man,
yeah.
that was the golden days.
Yeah,
That
that
was
was
like
a
right
time.
before the golden days of YouTube, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
YouTube-
was
YouTube
leading
years.
into it.
Yeah,
YouTube
because
was
that's where the
created the same-
animators branched off from, man. That's where
YouTube-
fucking
That's right.
Ego Raptor came from.
Did does anyone
My
remember
fucking
Icebox?
idol.
Anybody remember
Icebox?
what?
Anybody? Icebox?
Oh,
from
not too
Icebox?
familiar.
Oh my
The
god,
same-
yes.
Icebox. It was like the Flash animation series website. I think it went from '99 to 2003 or something.
Probably. You're
Man.
reminding me of shit like E-Bomb's World now.
Oh, but yeah, that was in the era.
Oh, God.
My favorite modern trend though is people who play FNF and they look at the source material like it's new shit. It's the
Oh.
funniest thing. Like they'll
Yeah.
watch Ed's World like they've never seen it before, and it's like there's a resurgence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Oh man,
makes sense.
Ed's World, dude. That was before me as
Strong
well.
bad.
Man.
And,
Strong bad.
I was born the same year as the DS coming out. I was also born the same year when YouTube
my
started.
Oh
Yo.
my god.
Oh, that's beautiful.
What else?
You
what
were
else
born
was-
in a good year, my friend.
What was invented in 2004?
I know that it was. I mean, Google and Yahoo. It went from Yahoo to Yahoo.
Facebook
Yeah,
was 2004.
Yeah.
I remember
Um,
the 2004 to
Facebook, I
2007
wouldn't really
era is when
argue
I
as like a good thing, though. I think that's like a meme, if anything. I'm gonna grab. No, I blame Facebook in its entirety, purposefully, wholly on the reason why we
Fair.
have so many more prominent dumb people is social networking, because they all
Yeah.
thought that they got like a moral high ground from posting it online, rather than like
Yeah.
once upon a time where people would tell them they were stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, do you guys remember?
Same
Do
thing
you
on
guys remember,
Twitter.
you guys remember
Yeah.
Boxy on YouTube?
I do remember
Oh,
Boxy.
absolutely.
I don't
Yep.
remember that one.
The Queen of B.
Frey, what was your favorite '90s cartoon?
90s cartoon? Oh,
Like from the
God.
age of like Courage the Cowardly Dog and Dexter's Lab, because we were on that topic while you were figuring your stuff out.
I was making them feel old instead of telling them mine, so I wasn't born in the 90s.
Is Ed, Ed, Nettie?
Absolutely.
in that?
Absolutely.
yeah.
And I'm not at all
Classic.
surprised that the one about
Oh.
3 teenagers, well, I guess, maybe not really
Reality
teenagers,
has
younger
many
than that,
doors,
preteens that are fucking scamming people out of their quarters for Jawbreakers is your favorite
Amazing.
cartoon.
I loved that growing up easily.
No, it was good, though. It was very
Have
good.
you guys seen the clip
Ended
where
great too.
Have you
Yes.
seen the clip where I think it's the pink one? Is Eddie the pink one?
Eddie's the pink one, yeah.
Where Eddie he rolls eyes like, what do we do now? He looks towards a calendar with a monkey and he's like, hey, I have a great idea. It predicted NFTs.
And
They
Oh my God.
predicted NFTs.
Oh no. Oh,
Oh,
no.
And
That's
then
so
Eddie
bad.
predicted NFTs.
Oh man, conspiracy theories from cartoons are great. But would you like to continue that tear you were on, Frey?
I'm gonna try to remember it.
Dementia Town.
People
Yes,
had
okay.
jobs and different things
Roommates
and stuff, and
and,
roommates.
Yes, okay, this one. So the idea is that if you are a resident in this town, then you can both, if you want to stay in your room, stay in your room. You can just be comfy there. You can go out into the shared quarters, living space, and just hang out there. You can explore around your house and your yard if you want to just get some sunlight, or you can choose to even go out into the town of your free will. And the entire place is made to be very accessible. There are bars put everywhere, so that you always have something to hold on to. Handrails, that's the word. And
Is this a
again,
dementia problem? I didn't know. Interesting.
yeah, it's a dementia neighborhood. I believe that's the term. And from the baristas to any waiters to any kind of other quote unquote job that's there, they are qualified. They're qualified professionals in elderly care. And what they found is that for the cost, while it does take a lot of space, takes a lot of money, but it also makes it also gives a
Probably
greater
makes money
livelihood to
because you
people.
still have businesses and stuff going through it, yeah.
You do, yeah. But what happens is it allows people to maintain their faculties for much longer and still stay more responsive because they're able to actually engage. They're able to get that stimulation.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, and it's all based on control, and I think it's just really cool. I didn't expect us to go on that tangent for so
that's all
long,
good.
but I think
It's all
I was
good.
very
No, that's a
curious. I didn't
weird
know about
thing.
it.
No, I honestly,
Cool.
it's a thing that I've really been getting a big enjoyment of, because when I do read, again, I would recommend this book to anybody too who's interested in it as well. I bought it because of the cover and the concept of enhancing your memory with things. It's called Moonwalking with Einstein, but it's basically about how this dude, who's like a reporter, basically won a memory competition for America like a little while ago. Not like, it was years ago, don't get me wrong, so there's definitely somebody who beat him by this point, but just memory and how memories work, and it does kind of tap into dementia and just the concept of like expertise in any given field and how it's based off of memories, like chess champions. For example, right?
Oh, yeah.
The idea between like the difference between an expert and somebody who just does a thing that they're really passionate in or that they're, might have a level of being good at it is experts react. And they react because they recall from memories of so many things that they have done from that thing. Hence the reasoning why my line of my status, I don't know if it's still set to the same way though, but my status is a line from Fury, which is excellence isn't an art, it's pure habit. We are what we repeatedly do. That was
Hell
what
yeah.
stirred that on, was from reading that book. But that's something that The Edge says, which is one of the most fucking amazing boss fights in game design history, by the way. Fucking watch or play that game if you have not. But anyway, that's what that kind of goes into, is like dementia in general, and people are known for doing much better memory-wise with dementia and whatnot from familiarity. And that's just how that works. Like, you're able to recall things easier from the familiarity of things that you know that just... It's not about, like, your memory failing and being bad at memory. It's about the idea of recalling it. It's there, you need to recall it. And that's where a lot of people, their main misconception about what memory is. And when you can unlock that ability, which is why, for example, what are the things that you remember most prominently, right? And think about why you remember them. I'm serious. Like, give me an example, though, Frey. Something that you'll never forget. Something that popped in your mind maybe when you were in, like, fucking grade school or something that you still remember to this day.
Let's see. One of the first memories I ever have is my mom explaining the concept of memory to me. And that was when she said,
fuck?
hey, I'm 100% serious.
Meta.
That's meta as fuck.
Yeah, I think this honestly just formed my entire perspective on how I go about life, but she said something along the lines of, if you ever saw a stampede of rhinos coming towards you, you would remember that forever, right?
Hmm.
But if you get up in the day and you get breakfast, you'll find that easier to forget. Sometimes people forget things, so don't get on me for forgetting the milk.
What the fuck?
Yeah, the thing is, let me ask you a question, though. When they said that, you conjured an image in your mind. You were thinking about the rhinos. You were thinking about the forgetting of like, you conjured a very vivid image, most likely, especially because you were younger as well. That's why you remember a lot of things when you're younger, very specifically, are the things that you stick to an image. This is a thing that literally happened in, like, Roman times. Think about, like, before books were super popularized. We don't use memory like we used to once upon a time because you have a little device in your pocket where you can put all of your memories and all of your phone numbers and all of your everything into. You don't need to exercise your memory like you did once upon a time. Not everybody had books way back in, like, ancient Rome and shit like that. It's like, it talks about an old concept of what people would do, which was, I forget what it's called, a loci, I believe, is what it, like, LOCI is what it's used. But it's like, you think of a building, think of like a house that's like, you go into your house every day, you know the ins and outs of your entire house, it is in your mind right now, right? The example that they used was you're going to remember a grocery list that's not even your grocery list by using this. Imagine yourself walking into that house, and now the first thing that would be, like, you need, like, a tub of cottage cheese. But don't just think of a tub of cottage cheese outside of the door. It has to be, it's massive. There's got to be a scantily clad lady in a bikini that's bathing in it or something like that. Something outlandishly weird. It sounds stupid, I'm serious, but it fucking works. And that's how you will remember the cottage cheese. And when you go through the different things that as you're passing through the house with that, right, they call these memory palaces. You will remember the steps that you're walking through your house, and you will just remember, oh, there's the giant tub of cottage cheese with the woman that's inside of it. Oh, there's the 3 rattlesnake hula hoops over there of red and white. Like, you know what I mean? Like, try to think of, it's really with memory competitions as well. It's how people memorize the, in those things, how cards, like decks of cards, are ordered. Because they have, like, a certain system in their mind to think of outlandishly ridiculous things. Hence the name of the book, Moonwalking with Einstein. That's stupid, but you remember Moonwalking with Einstein because it's stupid. And then you associate it to something else. So it's like a really just creativity to be able to recall the memory. Yeah, it's so real. And the people who have the most insane memories of all time that are unrecorded, like anything, it's because they have synesthesia. It's because they're constantly dreaming. That's why they have crazy memories and don't forget shit.
I can, like, imagine anytime I'm touching cottage cheese, I'm just, like, touching a pile of tongues that are licking my fingers.
Okay.
Cool.
Yes.
Cool.
But yeah, like, that's the thing, and that's why I've been trying to put that into people's minds too, when they're like, oh man, I have awful memory. I'm like, well, let me ask you, what do you visualize when, like, people tell you things? It's like, I refuse to believe that you have an awful memory. I do believe that you don't have much attention or care as much to conjure up something or whatever when people tell you things. I have an overreactive imagination, which I realize is now the reasoning why my memory is as good as it has been over the years. I very much value, like, my mental faculties with that shit, so it's just something that I have subconsciously been doing for God knows how long, and then it turned out into, oh yeah, that's why you have good memory, and I'm like, well, that makes sense. Yeah, the more creative you are, the better you can remember. It's so weird, though, isn't it? And that is literally in writing, by the way, too. That is how Romans remembered things. And they didn't remember it word for word, by the way, when they would do, like, a sermon, or they would do a speech, or they would do a whatever. They remembered the concept of it when they went through the memory palace to do things. So, like, think of, like, bards that remembered songs once upon a time. They didn't pull it up on their phone. They didn't, obviously sheet music was a thing at one point, though, but it's like, how do you think that they remembered those notes or this? That they had to use something to memorize that. It's like a long forgotten thing that we don't really use nowadays because of how we've evolved as a species. It's just an interesting thought process in general. And I was like, this is a really interesting book.
Oral tradition, buddy. Storytelling. So this is the patterns of old and the way that people would explain stories and how those stories became folklore to this day. It's all because of the patterns that were used in ancient storytelling. The rule of threes is something. It's still today. Like, we have.
I love when you talk about rule of threes and stuff. Yes, continue.
Western culture, especially, we have the 3 acts, right? Like in Eastern, it's 4 acts. But for the most part, I've analyzed, like Japanese folklore, for example, just to see if the patterns will map out, and it still generally maps out. If it's not in three acts, there's still, and especially in Japanese culture or folklore, I found they really stick to the rule of threes. Like things will happen. The first thing will happen, something will escalate, and then on the third escalation, there'll be a catalyst, some pivotal part where the story turns into the resolution. And so that's also true in like the Germanic folklore, for example, or Northern Europe folklore, where a lot of fables will happen with those rules of three. Why was that? Because the older storytelling traditions allowed it for storytellers, orators, to be able to know that you got to do the setup. You're going to say the first thing, you're going to have to say the second thing. So how does it escalate? Even if you forget what the details of the story, it doesn't matter. You just got to know that it escalates a little bit. And then that third escalation is going to be the pivotal point, the catalyst that turns into the conclusion. So that allowed for those kinds of stories to pass on from person to person to person to person. And I do believe that subconsciously that created a certain a way for, it's almost like, for me, it's like it's human DNA contains a part of this, the expectation that there's going to be these patterns. There's going to be the pattern of rings that comes up. Things start. Yeah, a built-in symbology that constructs the way that we think about things. The ring is another thing, or the circle, something that starts somewhere and it's cyclical, comes back around. There's a bunch of these. There's like the tower. Like there's all of these. There's the water, like the mother figure and the moon and the sun and all that stuff. Like, so there's just all these different things that even if you go across culture, these things have similar symbology behind them, even for cultures that were nowhere near each other in that era, and so between symbology and the patterns, I think that really does construct part of our DNA today, whether we're aware of it or not. We have those expectations in movies, we have those expectations in stories, and when we express our stories to other people, I do think that we unconsciously, we build up the same way, like the old oralists of old, we will build up our story the same way so that the stories that become memorable, they probably had three parts, or three.
No, it's weird. It's weird how things are just as effective as they are with that, and it's. I don't know. It's I love reading about that or watching videos on YouTube, especially too when it comes to like story creation. Like, you ever seen that video? I think I sent it to all you guys, but it's like if you don't have these, then you don't have a story. It's like a 5-part questions that the guy asks. Yes, I forget what the questions are, but you know exactly what the concept is that I'm going to say.
I get the concept. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like that kind of shit. Like, there's a reason why there are systems in place for certain things.
There's a reason.
But there is, it's weird.
Mm-hmm. You can change the language around them. You can change the framework. Like the framework I'm building is a mix of a bunch of different frameworks over the last 20 years, and it's a matter of just validating now. Like, it's just I can validate across music. I can validate, poems, comics, movies, TV shows, seasons versus episodes. Like, I'm doing it to Naruto for crying out loud, for arcs. It's not, and that's a whole different. It's based on a whole different storytelling methodology that comes from manga. I'm trying to do it with manga. To some degree, it works. Some it doesn't, because of course, manga is just constructed differently. But it's just fun to see, like, what makes, like, why does a volume stick out so much in manga? Like, if something like whether it's My Hero Academia or One Piece or Berserk, like, I'm almost certain the ones that are the biggest manga today, they follow this, at least from the Western perspective. The ones that are big in the West, they almost definitely follow some sort of a basic kind of like primal patternism.
I believe it too, because like a lot of anime, when you think about it as well, like each arc that they have, like think of any anime that you see, like they generally follow that, where it's like, all right, there's this arc where you're given the problem, they start to fucking do whatever the problem is to try to solve it. There's a misdirection. And then either that misdirection is like the end of what that is right there, or they then solve the problem from after that misdirection. That's like generally like the rule of thumb with any fucking arc that you see with anything in anime in general. Yeah. And it also is weird because that's almost exactly the same structure that's in comedy, in a joke, which is really funny. I was talking about this with my buddy Damon the other day, which is like, you were talking about how it's like kind of in a DNA thing. A lot of scientists think, weirdly enough, like laughter. Okay? Scientists still don't quite know why or what that is, but what I've heard that is an interesting theory with it is associated with the primal, like, thing that we had back in the age of, like, hunter-gatherer shit, okay? Where, like, that would be to signal the tribe that it's safe if, let's say, you expected there was a lion in that bush, and then a bunny pops out. The idea of misdirection from that invokes a laugh.
Interesting.
And then that just kind of turned into, all right, cool, everybody levels out. kind of shit. And that's where kind of humor comes
really
right away, because in a way,
interesting.
that's literally ironic humor. Like, isn't that weird when you think of it that way and you kind of dissect jokes, right?
Yeah.
At least the better jokes, the things that generally, like, most people, like, really laugh at more than anything, just dissect comedy in that. There's a misdirection in there somewhere. Something you didn't expect. It'll lead into something, and then they pull the carpet out from underneath you. That's like comedy in a nutshell, and Damon would argue that is 100% of comedy. But
It's like it's like my favorite line from King of the Hill. Sometimes you gotta punch a baby in the mouth and vomit.
Oh my god.
King
What?
of the Hill. I'm
What a
having more of
show.
a respect for King of the Hill as I'm older. Gonna be
man.
honest with you.
It's
What's
right,
the
YouTube poop. Don't worry.
What's
I
the
feel like
King of
that's
the
the
Hill?
target demographic.
it's
What
a
the-
thing,
what-
is what it is.
What the heck's a King of the Hill? No, I'm kidding.
Don't worry about it, Zoomer. But
I know. I know.
Oh, Simpsons.
I know what King of the Hill is.
It's
I
really
know
Family
that.
Guy.
All right, I'm going to move the topic forward just a little bit here, though, because we are starting to run out of time, and there's a couple of things I just want to make sure of that we touch. Okay, so we touched on burnout and whatnot and motivation. Is there anything else that you all wanted to add in to go in a little more depth with that one?
Nope.
Like tips for being able to keep your motivation for things? Because we talked about like keeping yourself surrounded by other like-minded people is a big one. Groups as well. Having Discord groups is a big one, especially if you're in content creation as well. That's why I got really invested in the whole Discord thing, was because that makes you want to do shit when you have people that are talking about things in your... When I'm talking to fucking IWho for fucking half an hour at work about Madoka Magica when he's going through the whole series, like, you know what I mean? It's like that I love that I'm doing that with a viewer. Like, you know what I mean? That's some fun shit. I live my life for that shit. But that's one of, I guess, if there's anything else to really tack on to that one, now would be the time. But
Don't compare yourself to others.
yeah, and the numbers game too, for sure,
Yeah.
is a big one. Comparisons are like literally the most disparaging thing for art in general, is comparisons as a whole. Do not compare yourself to people that are successful. And literally... the whole steal like an artist thing, the idea is to get an inspiration. You take what it is that they do, the spirit of it. There's a difference between stealing and plagiarizing. Take a big note of that one. There's a big difference between the two. Steal from them and springboard off of it to turn it into something else. This is the basis of all fucking artistic creation since the dawn of time. Nobody generally gives a fuck if you do that. But do not compare yourself to others, though, for sure. Also, there was a point that I did miss earlier, now that I'm thinking about it. Thank you for that as well. That was a question with the creative hobbies and where do you find inspiration. That was inspired by a thought process that I don't remember where I heard it from or whatever it is, but the idea of... it was in that same book, actually. One thing that big time stifles creation as well, don't be busy 24/7. Make yourself bored.
Oh god, yeah.
Like, it sounds really random and silly, but I'm serious about that. Don't be busy.
You're totally
if
right.
You want... There's a reason why shower thoughts are a thing with anything art, anything creative, and what... Like, make yourself bored. Sit down, do nothing, read a book, or whatever the case is. Do something that's boring to you, That's not having you preoccupied doing a thing. You have a minute after work or whatever. Just sit down on the patio, kick your feet up or whatnot, and just get a drink and just, whatever. Let your mind just do whatever. That's why I have so many thoughts while I'm at work all the time, because my brain is just so... It's so mindless, the work that I do. So that's where I get all of my ideas, where I'll just be like brainstorming shit on the fly. This is why Ed laughs too with the Star and City playthrough that we're doing for tabletop, because I'll just like think of crazy like scenarios with my character Vincent and all the like different dialogues that I'll have with other characters and whatnot, and I just headcanon it in my head all day long when I'm really thinking about it. Because that's just how it is.
It's so nice.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, be bored. That's a big one.
Or find opportunities to turn your brain off too, like whether it's something that is low intensity, whether it's like just watching a show without playing a game beside it, or playing an RPG, or even just going for a walk without the expectation of getting tired. Something that just moves your energy levels lower. You actually just reminded me so much of my fucking mental cycles that I try to go through of like ebbs and flows of highs and lows of energy. It's ridiculous, but yes, that your point summarizes up very well. Very true.
And then for staying motivated as well, what have you guys done to keep yourself motivated with shit? I know that this is definitely a thing me and X fucking struggle with big time, and I'm sure that you guys struggle with it. But like,
For me,
go on and off. Go ahead.
Okay, for me, it's literally just continuous improvement. I don't know what video I saw a long time ago, but ever since that, it was always, if I can phrase something as pointing in the direction or goal that I want to go, it's something I need to do, or I get happy and satisfaction of doing. Like,
Yep,
everything is under the branch. Yeah, all these 1% are adding up. It's just, I phrase many things under the guise of art, even if it kind of isn't. It just is. It cope. Basically that.
You want to try that one again?
It's just coping. It's literally it. If I'm just not happy with like what I'm doing in engineering, like I get to 3D model things. I get to flex my creative brain if I need to solve a problem. That is art. If I get to act silly, that's kind of a performance art. I don't know. There's many things that can be phrased under the umbrella of art, and like if I get to do it, I am happy that I'm fulfilling my childhood dream of being an entertainer through art, that kind of thing. That's it.
Absolutely. And networking it together, of course, too, is a big one, too. Like, while you're doing a thing, try to be productive. That's why I write my shit down at work. I am, in between my breaks at work, I am currently working on a super boss to throw at my D&D 5e campaign this Saturday. It is now done. They're going to get their shit rocked. It's going to be great. I'm serious.
Yeah.
It's like 5 pages of super boss, dude.
Oh God.
But it's great. Yeah, no, like seriously, they try to do things at the same exact time. And I realized that one especially too from Veritas with like being able to combine the two things in loading screens, play music, come up with stuff, write it down. You know, we already talked about make sure that it's out in the physical world is a big one. Che, do you have anything else to add onto that one as well?
Yeah. I mean, that's the, like you said, like it's a struggle right now, so it's a little bit more difficult for me to know how to get myself out of it.
Then I suppose, especially if you have a story.
You know, for me, it's like it's not necessarily in line with sticking to the thing that you're trying to do and accomplish. But for me, it's like I deviate. I look for a source somewhere else. Like I have too many ideas. I don't think they'll ever all get done, and that's to some degree okay, but also, I mean, I'm hyper aware of needing to get things done. Like one of the biggest flaws of a creator is, you know, you start things and you can just start things and you can just start and then start more things. You start, and at one point,
Calamitous.
you got to pick one. You know, you got to pick one, and then you can go small with it. You can go big. I've done the, back 10 years ago, I quit my job to do comics, and I took 3 years to do nothing but figure it out. Like I wanted to figure out every step of it. Like finding an artist, working out the comps, like just understanding what it is I was designing, how to write scripts, how to then lay things out in from a pre-press perspective, and then I had to get a job to kind of like, oh shit, you know, the funds are running out, you know, I got to get back into the work world, and it took me another 5 years before I could actually finish things off and then go into figure out the printing side of things and then figure out the distribution side of things. And each of those pieces were modularized so that they became a project. And that's the only project I said to myself, no matter what, I have to get this one done. And it's, 12 years later, 13 years later, but it's done, And so it's a matter of that sensation of like knowing it is possible. Can it take long? Yeah. Can you get distracted along the way? Yeah. Do you hit writer's block along the way or creator block? Or, I mean, just, you have to manage funds. Like this one actually cost it was an investment, Yep. And so there's business things you have to kind of deal with where you're like, well, I don't want to deal with this. I just want to create things. Yeah. But sometimes you got to go, hold on, but you got to take a couple steps back and think pragmatically. What are your next steps so this doesn't just turn into like a sinkhole of both money and time. It's easier when you can look back and go, okay, that was time, but I learned something, and even in the one that like this was a massive investment for me, but I learned plenty. And that's not just necessarily tied to comics. It's just tied to the idea of production, idea of thinking things through from beginning to end, having a strategy, deconstructing it and modularizing it into achievable chunks, and just taking one step at a time and persisting through it. If you can't do it now, don't worry about it. Like write down, put it on the list somewhere. Like I'm a big fan of like at the beginning of the year, creating a list of things I would like to try to achieve. I've been doing this for about 7 or 8 years now.
It's funny you say that, and I'll leave it there. Continue.
You don't always get through them all, and it doesn't matter that you do or don't, right? But you know that every year you get to have this reboot switch in your brain that goes for the next 12 months. I'm going to write 10 of these things down. If I can get to 5 of them, I'm going to be happy. And then maybe 5 of them spill over. Maybe you throw them out. They're not that important anymore. They deprioritized, right? But yeah, I guess I didn't have really anything to say, but as I started, I think that I got a flood of memories and just like the stuff that I kind of went through for it. But I would say like now that I'm trying to find that thing that is a little bit it's escapism. I am turning to escapism with YouTube, but that part of that the part that is the production is it's reducing the value of the output. And so from a creative sense, like I turned to the AI stuff. Thank God it kind of popped up and I was like, what the hell is this? Right. And it's actually triggering something crazy where the fact that I can I can get AI to produce so many of these ideas so quickly. I've gone through so many different ideas over the last decade where I'm like, I will never have time to create these things as books or as a new comics or a web comic or some ARG or like, and I can have an AI just visualize so much of that groundwork, and at the cost of what? My time, but I really enjoy looking at this art, man. Like,
exactly. So you
look
have
at
that
this
investment already.
So the investment of my time there, I get enjoyment back. I'm inspired again. I feel like getting a tablet and getting back into art. I haven't drawn in like 15 years,
Holy shit, damn.
It's triggered like a lot, and it's just 3 weeks of just an AI kind of doing it, out of all things, I never planned for it.
Any source of inspiration, dude.
It's a source of inspiration. And now it just turns into, okay, well, what am I going to do with this, right? What's the next step here? Is this just fuel to go back to figure out YouTube again? Or do I, part of me is like, do I just wait for YouTube, the platform itself? Just settle down, bitch. Like, you gotta like find out, like, I need to feel a little bit more confident about the platform being there for people who just want to create again, and not get stuck in that trap. And so I don't know, I feel like I guess the advice there would be if I think someone said it earlier in this call, right? If something's not working, you can always step back. I think it was you, Frey. It's you could always pull back.
Something doesn't seem to make sense, then do the thing that makes the least sense.
Make the least sense. Pull out and then reconvene. Get your head on straight. Get some different inspiration somewhere else. Do the unexpected, and then maybe something triggers, and you come back to it. Refreshed and.
Yep. A programming tip. My advisor also. He was one of the most influential people for me to be able to get into this thing as well. It's one of the main reasons why I'm like, no, I need to see this through and get my bachelor's degree, get in the fucking field already at this point, because I want to make sure that I did something with the knowledge that he passed on. He's a very good dude. But as my computer science advisor in community college told me, if something doesn't make sense when you're trying to program with code, go watch SpongeBob.
Excuse
me? I'm serious.
Yeah.
About a 64, 62-year-old man, fucking nom-vet, beat cancer, worked for the Pentagon. One of the most serious people, but has bouts. It's very similar to me with that. One of the most serious people normally, and it just has these bouts of, oh wow, you just said that. You're joking. And it just comes out of left field. But that was the thing that he would tell us specifically with if you are looking at your code for a while, it's been a long way, whatever, and it's starting to aggravate you, you have to walk away. You need to walk away from it and then get a fresh set of eyes on it later and just do something brainless for a bit. And that was how he would advise people. He goes, go watch SpongeBob. That was how he worded that shit, dude.
Okay.
And it's so much of a good point, especially with code, because it gets so fucking frustrating. And then you go back over to it and you're like, oh, I put an extra character into this. It's not loading a character into an array, but it's trying to convert a string to a character.
Oh. Is SpongeBob like the ginger of your palette?
Yes.
Yes.
What the fuck?
It is. It takes all the thought juice and absorbs it into a sponge.
Wait,
That's why he's sponge.
Wait, you
What the hell?
actually eat the ginger? I've never had ginger before. With
Oh, the ginger's
It's pretty
delicious.
good. Yeah,
I'm not
they're
a
right.
ginger guy either, too, but I know a lot of people who are. Hilariously, my ginger friend will consume the whole entire thing of ginger and become a super
cannibal.
ginger. Yeah.
I do like wasabi though. I will like eat the wasabi by itself. Like
That's cool.
Wasabi is also.
Have you ever had
something
real
else, too.
wasabi though? That
Don't
shit
snort
fucking destroys
wasabi
you.
though.
No, gargle it.
like Steve-O?
Oh no.
God. My brain.
Sushi, man. We were talking about that too as well. I need to do more sushi soon. I need to hit the kisaki.
Bro,
Excellent.
we should have made sushi in the hotel room. That
We could have. It would have been great.
I
I
don't
want to
think
try
that
that
would
at
have
some
been
point in the
safe.
future, dude. I want to try to do that in the future. I'm serious because like I started like
I'm interested.
I get these books that pop in to my department with things, and like one of the things that we get weirdly enough a lot sometimes is we'll get like these sushi books, and I realized from reading
Wow.
those that like really the main thing with sushi is like how fresh it is. That's like
Yes.
it's like the main thing, and it makes a lot of sense when you kind of think about it. It's like, yeah, no, you can pretty much consume most raw meat if it's fresh. Like, obviously, not all. I wouldn't tell you to eat a fucking steak fresh out of, like, you know what I mean? Like, no, but I mean, like, literally, like, if the fish was pretty fucking like fresh, you know, and you're defrosting it or whatever the
on the
case. Is.
deck
I
of
don't
a
know
chef.
if you have to freeze fish for sushi though is the thing. I think it's just iced, but like, yeah, you know what I mean. But
Yeah,
like, if it's
I think
fresh,
you're right.
freshly cut, and you use the right shit for it, like that's what makes sushi for that you to be able to consume that shit.
Oh,
But,
I'm sure.
Absolutely. So that being said, we're coming to about a close here, guys. Last minute things for it as well. Did y'all have fun? That's the main thing. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
Genuinely.
I did. Though, mind if I add one thing to like the topic we just
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what we're here for.
in the words. So in my situation where I've luckily found ways to mark progress not just through satisfaction or not just through skills. I am fortunate, but also challenged to the point of having to mark those through a dollar amount. Also, Ginger, you're so goddamn good. I think the simplest advice for anyone who's gotten to that point, which is very different from others who are the other ones, so keep in mind which mindset works for you, are the wise words of Ron Swanson. Don't half-ass two things. Whole-ass one thing.
Yeah.
If you find that there is something that is very important, that is, you know where you want to go, and you know that's going to make it so much more better to get there,
Yeah.
sometimes you do have to juggle things, but if you can just focus on that
Sacrifices.
one thing and do it great, then the other one can wait, and you're going to be so much better off. That can be anywhere from learning a certain skill, or that can be from focusing on a certain job, or that can be just dealing with getting through your goddamn retail job at work until you've saved up enough to actually get the skills you motherfucking want. Don't let it stop you. It's hard, but eat it. And that bullet cereal will chew a lot better over time.
It's such a crazy feeling too, where you just get like that random bout of inspiration, and that's like one of the main things again why I wanted to do this channel that I really decided to cling to and stick to. It's like I want to be the person where you're like, yeah, you know, I really enjoy this thing, but I don't. I'm gonna be the guy that's like, do it. Don't worry about the quality of it. Don't worry. Do the thing that you want to do, because that I vehemently believe, and not to get like super philosophical or existential about shit, but like I vehemently will stand by anything to do with that. It's something that I it's a big value in my life, is follow a passion that you have or several. Like, do the things that you want to do. Like, you are here to enjoy yourself. Enjoy yourself. Do that shit. Like, that you have a story to tell with that kind of thing. Regardless of where that leads. Like, you know what I mean? So that's really where I fucking stick with that. But absolutely, like, follow that passion. Do the thing that you want to do. If you get a gut feeling where you're like, hey, man, this seems really cool, fucking do it.
You gotta try it. Even if you fail, you gotta try it. You can always get back up.
It's
Learn
an
from
age-old
something.
statement, but like, you know, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
That's just how it.
You miss 100% of the shots you miss.
Yes.
That's
yes, you do.
true.
I guess.
Fail
yeah, people
fast.
die when they're killed.
Yeah.
True.
Yep. But yeah, do you
know
guys
what?
have any? Go ahead, X. Yep, you first.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I forget how the quote goes too, but you know, it's about regrets, right? Like, if you try, I mean, the worst thing that can happen is you fail. But worse than that is you don't try at all, and then you regret you never tried at all, right?
Yeah.
And
Yes.
if you living with that idea, right? Living with man, I wish I could have. I wish I could have, right? Well, you should have. You should have. And then even if it sucked,
Don't have
move
unlimited
on.
time.
And now you know. Yeah.
Yep.
You know,
We
Also,
have
to
unlimited
add on
chances
to
while
that
you're
one-
still alive.
You still felt an
Absolutely.
emotion.
Yep, and the other thing, try not to think about things on that kind of perspective too, because it's very easy to get depressed by that shit. Is like thinking about like fucking time to do things. Just do it anyway. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, just
like,
do it.
Don't worry about that shit. Like running out of like it's an easy fallacy to fall into with shit. But also,
Bullet cereal.
you went on a tear right there, X, about something afterwards. Where was it? Summarize
What's
that
with
again, real
regret?
quick.
With regrets and
With regretting things that you. Oh yes, if you don't do a thing, then you'll. It's worse.
it's harder to
regrets.
live. It's harder
Yeah.
to live with the you didn't try something and then 10 years later it's like, oh man, I wish I did, right? Like that never.
That's
leaves
what it
you.
was. That's what it was.
Right,
Remember,
yeah.
the only difference between this is Joe Cats, by the way. The only
What?
difference between an amateur and a master is that a master has failed many more times.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
true.
So think about like you learn infinitely more from failure anyway. So if you fail, that's fine. Like genuinely, like the thing is being able to brush yourself off when you fail and get up from that, and either try again or try something else and realize that it's not for you, and then you learn something from that anyway. Like you learn shit in failure. That is how you figure it out. So that's one thing I've never really been afraid of is failure. That's weird too. I guess that's like an old arcade gamer's mentality though with shit too. Like you know what I mean? Because you just fucking
Keep restarting.
literally that's a song on YouTube. That's like one of the older fucking things. What is it?
Like
Team
Dark Souls.
Neko something. Whatever. You know what I mean? The can't be airman people and the fucking the like old making
That's
fun
funny, I
of
don't
Mega
know.
Man
Yeah,
games where the
yeah.
entirety of the song is him talking about how he can't beat the fucking one stage in Mega Man. Like that's the whole song. I think it's like
That was
no
good.
sleep until win or till complete or something. It's I need to find it now. Team NekoCon,
That's
I think,
awesome.
is what it's called. But that's literally the song. But it's like it taps into that old feeling of arcade games. But yeah, X. Sorry, not X. Ed, anything that you needed to add in onto that?
No, I just want to eat.
Fair enough. But yeah, so any positives or negatives that you think that you want to point out? This is the feedback section now of the podcast for any of y'all. If anything that you liked, that you disliked, or anything, what did you think about like the structure for it too?
I just want to thank you guys. Just like it is, as someone who like is not very social, I don't really talk to much people who also are in the content creator group. It is cool to hear opinions of like-minded people and people who have actually done the research. There's very rare these days. Those statements earlier talking about like when the threshold is of sustainability. I hope to not like bring up and make you feel bad about it, but like that does make me really want to reevaluate a lot of my plans and just what I mentioned earlier of how I want to switch gears and how I'm already wanting it to happen sooner.
Yep.
Is that as Frey was saying, he's making his video stuff. He wants that to be with his VTubers, SkinTubers, all that stuff. He's trying to like combine his job and his passion together. I just love art. I think I want to just 3D model for a bunch of people, and then I want to be a commissioner for that.
Yeah.
So I think I may be
there is
opening that
definitely a
up
market in
sooner
that
than I
shit.
thought it would be.
There's
Yeah,
definitely
especially right now.
Especially right now. Absolutely. Absolutely, my
Oh
friend.
yeah.
Yep. And then there's always fun shit that you can learn from like the modeling process with things. 'Cause I remember that was like a fun thing that you were saying about when I had you do the thing where you're like, no, this was great. It had me learn some things.
Yeah, like that. The stuff I learned from that helped made this model afterwards. Like I
Excellent.
took that mainly because I wanted to re-spin up my gears about 3D modeling again. So like I'm here. So
Yeah.
it
Nice.
worked out.
There you go. No, absolutely.
Hell yeah.
Excellent shit.
Yeah, and I guess just to bounce off that, Fox, yeah, I really appreciate you setting this up together. Sometimes I do kind of feel like this was more beneficial to us than maybe the people
viewers?
watching. Yeah, but
It's fine. There's entire channels
is.
like that. Like, look at
That's what
Devin.
the whole entire point. Chat, is there anybody here who wasted their time here?
I'm not trying to say that. I'm not trying to say
that.
that.
Like, no.
Sorry, that was
Wow,
poor phrasing
right?
on my part. You're
Fox
absolutely
invi-
right.
Fox invites you
Apologies.
onto his channel, and yet you come out with the.
Let me try
my house,
rephrasing that.
insult my viewer. No.
Jesus Christ.
Here,
Dark Punster is like, no, I've learned some shit. And that's what the idea too is like to kind of open the door for anybody who wants to think about getting into content creation or whatever. Because I know you exist. The people that watch my channel that are not trying to fucking like flex my age or anything though, but are probably about a decade under me that are about to hit that 20 bracket or early 20s. I've been there and all that shit. That's a great time to just enjoy the shit that you can. Right? No, like honestly, that was like the greatest time of my life, dude. Like early 20s when I was in fucking college. Enjoy it.
I missed them.
Ed, you better fucking listen.
I want to be done. I want to be done
in the
already.
moment, but you love it later. That's
I
what
want to
everyone
be
says,
done.
and it's fucking
I
true.
don't want to do it.
It's all downhill from here, bitches. Anyway, thanks for
I
having us
don't
on.
want to do this.
It's all, folks. It's all
It's-
downhill.
It was fucking great to see other people on the way as we inch closer away off this mortal coil. I'm glad I get to spend it with all you bozos who I've been able to meet over this past year, and Jay, who's a really cool person I feel lucky to have been introduced to.
Oh, absolutely.
And
X is a lovely character.
And I'm
You
just
are cool, dude.
yeah.
Thank you.
I'm just so excited to. I don't know. I wanna do more stuff with you guys. I wanna keep meeting people. I wanna just like live.
Absolutely. And this is an open door invitation for you guys for later on. Like as more topics come up, like again, I am completely improvising this as I go, and we're gonna get like more in depth and granular with like maybe previous topics that we had, and go into like a subgenre of that. And the idea is to kind of use it as a community thing to bounce off of you guys. We're like, what would be a cool topic for the next one? Like, you know what I mean? And then just go through different. I love having a bunch of ideas and just spinning it into something anyway. It may not be guaranteed to be used, of course, but the more that you have for input, the better that it is. Like, I like having a big pool of data to pull from with that shit. But yeah,
I think
absolutely. And
something
I'm
more
glad
inherently
that you
fun.
enjoyed Punster.
I think something more inherently fun is a good palate cleanser from this one because we reach pretty deep
Yes.
topics.
Yep, no, absolutely. Fair. Something that's just a
Next
little more,
up-
like, just a random fucking thing. Maybe back into the story writing thing, but, like, a specifically, difficulty
Why
in
not?
video games. Discuss.
Oh,
That is going to be a topic in the future, so you know.
Fox,
That's
I think we,
Gambling.
before Limbus comes out, we have to do the Project Moon after school special.
Oh, absolutely.
Episode.
Yeah. We need to also, I'm thinking would be really funny is if I can get one of my other content creator buddies, Blue Inferno next would be really funny to have on here as well, who is also
yeah.
one of my Canadian friends as well. I'm going to call it the Canada special. It'll be great.
Hell yeah.
That'd be funny to have him and Brandolphin here at some point. I'd love to have those guys. But yeah, they probably would accept that invite as well, too. It'd be the best thing in the world. But anyway, that is about everything that I wanted to talk through there for the most part. I think that's about there. And again, like, if you guys come up with ideas for if there's anything for suggestions, feedback, or whatever that you think of, again, you still have access to that server for Give No Fox. That's fine. Just mute it if you have to or something like that. But I implore that you stick in it for that reasoning, and it's just going to get bigger from there. I might even make a server for it later. But
Cool.
yeah, so that is that. We are going to leave off on one other smaller note. You guys ready for the nostalgia value time? All right, we're going to leave off on a simple one. Have a singular promise that you want to leave off on. This is something that me, Frey, and Yokumi did every fucking Saturday.
Oh my
We would put,
god!
like, things like promises or whatever it was.
What?
It doesn't even matter if you complete it or not, and we're not doing it on
What?
a weekly thing. Okay? Come up with like a goal or something. It can be something really simple, okay? Like, I will exercise 2 times next week. Like something
So
like
what
that,
is this
okay?
like Throwback Thursday? Or, I don't get
Basically, it just thought
It
that it
was
would be
like
a
a
really
year
fucking
ago we
cool
did
way
this.
to end it off, dude. But yeah, this is like a
Yeah.
couple of months
Yeah.
back. But yeah, so do we have any promises that we want to do? I will literally start off by this one. Very
Yeah,
simple, okay?
Absolutely. Go
By
ahead.
the end
Tell
of the
me.
year, I will be making a song of some kind. I do not know what, but it is probably going to be a cover, and it's
Yo.
probably going to be with my buddy Damon. I will make another song by the end of the year. I will make sure that that is a thing that happens by the end of the
Hell
year.
yes.
All right? And trying to get into music making in some way, shape, or form. Who would like to take the floor next?
I'll grab one.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Go for it.
Sure.
I'll make a short and a long-term promise, and also thank you for doing this because, man, this really did
It's
just
cute.
hit my feels. Yeah, the three of us did this like for almost a year ago now. That's so sweet.
Oh.
Yeah.
Long-term promise. Within 6 months, I am going to make money predominantly from editing and be able to live off of it within 6 months.
Excellent.
And short-term promise, before the end of this week, I'm gonna have a motherfucking video on a YouTube channel with over 700,000 bitchin' subscribers that is going to be well accepted,
Yeah.
and I am not gonna take any prisoners on it.
Good. No fucking prisoners.
Jesus.
Next.
I mean, I wouldn't mind doing I wouldn't mind finishing a couple art collaborations with an AI bot.
With clever bots. Art collab.
Hey,
Me and AI don't get along too well, honestly.
aw.
I've had
there's-
bad
it's-
experiences with AI.
Really?
Frey,
I
you
think
With them
it's not
becoming
me, what do you mean?
sentient, that is, you mean?
Frey, you've had bad experience with AI too. It was the same incident.
That's
What is
look.
this?
There's a lot that I wasn't aware of. I mean, okay. I guess if we're bringing this up, I'll try to make it
Maybe
quick.
we don't need to. Oh god.
Maybe we.
Oh.
I feel like it's kind
We
of
can do this off stream if you want.
Yeah,
It-
yeah.
it-
That's
it
actually
was-
probably
yeah,
better.
This
Let's do
doesn't
that.
need to, like, if you guys still want to stick around afterwards, you're more than welcome
Let me
to.
be
and
clear. I have
but
no
yeah.
issues with AI.
Yeah.
I was joking too.
Yeah.
It was a
Oh, no, I believe that. But go ahead, Shay.
No, that's it. That's I'd like to get I'd like to figure something out, some sort of project, pull something off, and but from a perspective of from the creation perspective, not necessarily hey, this AI can just generate stuff. I'd like to evaluate how it generates things from an artistic capacity, like how it uses the principles of art, the values, and how it puts all those things together, like how it learns through prompts, how it gets trained along the way, and just how it kind of honestly, like how it at least the one I'm using right now, how does it put the soul into the art that it creates? Because I do think that some of the art that's coming out of this is going like, wow, this feels way more human to me than some of the stuff I see online. So that's kind of what's pulling me in. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yokumi.
Sure. Well, in the vein of what I said earlier, honestly, I within the next 2 months, short term, I want to finish up this VTubing setup. Nothing way too extravagant, just enough that I didn't actually elaborate earlier, but one of my like favorite creators right now, Jerma. I want to be able
Jerma
to
is
like
legendary, dude. I've
Yes,
only
yes.
seen some of his shit. I don't get the memes, but from what
I
I,
don't get it
understand,
either.
I don't think you're
I
supposed
can
to get
explain
it.
later.
No, I don't think you're
you're not
supposed to get the
supposed to.
Jerma memes anyway. I think
He
that's
is
literally the
psychotic.
joke. Like, that's the point. Like, it's just random. It
Yeah.
doesn't make sense. Like,
Yeah.
it's literally just a fucking diссociative nightmare. I think that's actually the joke.
That's him.
Fuck you.
It's
It
a
works.
piece of psychotic work. I love it. So the point is that one of his streams back in February, he did a huge explanation of like his next steps, like a lot of stuff that I'm considering now, even though I'm like 10 years younger than him. It's a lot of, as we said earlier, what you really want to do later on in life. Now that you're considering yourself that at a certain age, and then next, like, such a huge note to me that it blew my mind. He said he would have quit like years ago if he wasn't like satisfied. The reason why he's still doing this now is because he gets to do those crazy bullshit streams that no one else can do, like the
Just a
baseball,
Jerma
the
stream,
dollhouse. It blows my mind that he has literally racked hundreds
That
of
one that he
thousands of
picked
dollars
up
in
a
debt.
VTuber or whatever the fuck that video was, dude. I forgot what it was. Like,
Oh,
picked
yeah.
up
Oh my
somebody
God.
and just walked
That
away
was
with him.
That was Artemis the Blue.
Yes,
oh my
Artemis.
god.
Yep.
What the fuck? I forgot about that. What the fuck?
Also,
What
the real
hell?
answer, the real question,
It's
Gosok, is
ridiculous.
why aren't you in a Fallout bunker?
I don't know. I need to survive. I need to survive 7 years from now anyways. Anyways. So the point is, I want to, like, Jerma is limited often by what he can do physically. Like, I don't have to pay, well, not as nearly as much to like make a circus carnival area, as opposed to he did that, which is pretty damn extravagant.
Yeah, that is.
I wanna make funny ha-has in a virtual space, which is virtually unlimited. And that's just something that's needs to be utilized by more people. I see so much people utilizing the virtual space, but they're just fucking, I don't know, sitting on chairs in front of mirrors, and like that's it. It's like,
You fucking soys! What are you doing?
Untapped potential.
there's so much you can do. You are given virtually unlimited power, and then you're just sitting there. I don't know. Whatever.
Beautiful.
You're gonna show us. You're gonna show us what it means to be
possibility
virtual.
for virtual. No, I agree with you. There's a lot of, yeah. I am a big sucker for that as well, and I think that's just a general thing with people is potential. I'm a big sucker for potential. That's why we buy into early access games and get disappointed. But yeah, Morshu, welcome back. We're making promises. That's what we're doing right now.
Speaking of that, let me just finish up before you go on more tangents. Yep. So, finish up VTubing this VTubing setup within 2 months. Directly after that, start opening up commissions. Mainly, I'm going to get started by gifting a certain VTuber that I really like, that I've just learned so much from them about the art world. I will gift them a 3D model, and it is both like it's kind of a publicity stunt and both of a thank you.
Nice.
That's
That's good though.
Yeah.
Very good.
Absolutely.
It is to start the commission train.
Yeah, that's a good way to start up, though, honestly. The thing is, at the end of the day, when it comes to anything, especially if you're turning it into a job or something that you plan to get any income from it in any way, shape, or form anyway, there is a level to that where it is, there's a way for it to, to promote or whatever the case is. There's a way to do it tactfully and respectfully, though. Yes. Versus shamelessly. There's a big line, and it should be very clear when that is.
Yes.
So, I think I see nothing wrong with that. Again, going back to if it's something that you want to do, that you really have a fucking knack for, that you really enjoy, I see no problem in trying to make money off it. Absolutely. Ed, what are your promises?
What was yours?
All right. Well, I think by the end of the year, I'm going to do at least one stream by the end of this year.
Ooh.
That's a good promise.
Yeah,
that's a good way to get your foot in the door.
Let us know when.
And there might be, I might start a long-term Darkest Dungeon video. Like a
That'd be a good place to start for you.
No, like a review essay kind of.
Nice. Okay, yeah, I like that.
Interesting.
I already have a title in mind already.
Hell yeah.
I think I was going to call it.
That's a good place to start for you. It's something that you're very well affiliated with too. You know the game. You know what you're talking about. So
I think I was going to call it like Unfair, but that's the point, or something like that.
I like that.
I respect that.
Like
That's a good one.
Dark Souls mentality.
Or unfair on purpose in the best way possible.
Yeah.
I like the first one better, not gonna lie.
I'm so glad that I got X into that, by the way. Have you been playing Darkest Dungeon recently, buddy?
I'm still catching up on editing. I grinded out. Yeah.
How dare you guys get me into this fucking game?
I know. I sucked him in. And he's like, oh no.
By the way,
the moment I'm done with that video, I'm jumping on Darkest Dungeon.
After we're done here, I need to rant about Darkest Dungeon 2 because they made a change that I'm not happy with.
Oh no.
You know about it. I complained about it to you already.
I don't know specifically what.
The bounty hunter stuff. I do not like it.
Oh no. Right, he's just he's like a side thing. I got it.
Oh yeah, that was a big thing that I saw a video for. But yeah, that is what we're gonna wrap up right here, though, guys. It has been a fucking phenomenal stream. The fact that we've gone 3.5 hours, by the way, on top of it is that's great because that means that you guys were definitely invested in that because somebody would have been like, "No, we need to go." I know you guys had fun from that alone, right there, because it went over. So absolutely,
this is like a really hot topic in the creator industry. Like this is stuff that people don't usually talk about openly. So it's cool to actually like talk about taboo, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes me very happy.
I'm all about that shit, man. I'm all about that shit. Yeah. I'm actually a very wholesome fox. People might not believe that, but I actually am. Right after I'm done trolling your ass. All right, that is it for me. So y'all take it easy, and then until next time, this has been what is the name of the fucking podcast again? I think it was The Struggle of Creative Minds. Yep, The Struggles of Creative Minds. No, I'm talking about the name of the episode. Fools, I know it's Give No Fox, but yes, this has been Give No Fox, episode 2, The Struggle of Creative Minds. So you have seen the struggle right here, there, live.
Yes.
This is the struggle.
Conclusion.
All right.
I'm breathing. Can you sit by?
Yeah.